alleyway. In the dead of the night, a rustle is heard near the corner railings. There is a dull thud of something landing on the ground. The black railing is like a chasm separating the two figures.
야, 우태양, 빨리 돌아와.
The boy nervously surveys his surroundings, but the runaway who has jumped over the railing doesn't move an inch. The full moon hangs high in the dark sky. The shadow beneath his feet is stretched, gradually becoming blurred.
왜 돌아가야 되는데?
뭐? 왜라니? 넌 지금 규정을 어긴 거야. 잡히면 벌 받을 거라고.
겨우 그것 때문에?
겨우 그거라니. 원장님의 벌이 두렵지 않아?
그 아저씨가 뭐가 무섭다는 거야? 벌은 날 잡고 나서나 얘기하라 그래.
Gerard snorts, then turns to leave. But after taking a few steps, he hesitates and turns his head to glare at the other boy.
이러기만 해. 그럼 돌아와서 흠씬 두들겨 줄 테니까.
안 그럴게.
The boy is at a loss and stays rooted to the ground as he mumbles and shakes his head. By the time he regains his composure, the dark figure has disappeared at the end of the road, blending into the darkness. Stellis Public Hospital.
깨자마자 이렇게 흥분을 하다니. 방금 내가 한 말 다 알아들었나 보네요?
Maris gets up from his seat and takes half a step back. He twists his wrist and slowly smooths his crinkled suit cuff. The man on the bed gathers his strength as he struggles to sit up, but his frail body only manages to sway a little. His wide eyes stare fixedly in front, and his mouth opens and closes helplessly, resembling a struggling fish on the chopping board.
힘 빼지 마요. 의지력이 병을 이겨내는 그런 기적은 당신 같은 사람한테 일어나지 않을 테니까. 청력에는 문제가 없다고 하니 마지막으로 한 가지 알려주죠. 장태산 씨, 헤이스는 이미 몰락했고 더 이상 뒤를 봐줄 사람도 없어요. 살고 싶다면 화인에게 기대는 게 좋을 겁니다.
Turner's face twists and his body shakes even more violently. He babbles and groans, struggling to raise his hand to pull the hem of Mary's shirt before him.
푹 쉬세요.
Maris picks up the fallen blanket and covers the man in bed. As Maris opens the door and prepares to leave the ward, an inscrutable smirk appears on his face.
이건 예상 못했는데.
제가 때를 잘못 골랐나요?
아니요, 마침 잘 왔어요. 방금 일방적으로 대화를 해봤는데 상태가 안정적이지 못해요. 바쁘지 않다면 좀 지켜봐줘요.
Luke, who was initially leaning on the wall with his arms crossed, straightens up and sweeps a cool gaze over Tyson Turner, who seems emotionally disturbed.
유신우 씨, 일부러 병원까지 와서 장태산이랑 얘기를 할 정도로 친구가 없나요?
두터운 지갑이 있는데 친구가 부족할 리가요. 여전히 상상력이 부족한 것 같네요. 친구가 너무 많아서 잘 모르는 사람이랑 얘기를 해보고 싶었던 겁니다.
Maris is still wearing the same smile as he had on the headquarters earlier. But when he gives Luke a side glance, his eyes reveal a sense of sarcasm and coldness completely different from his tone.
마침 마주쳤으니 우리도 얘기를 좀 하는 게 좋을 것 같네요. 듣자하니 국정원에서 헤이슨 사건에 대한 특별조사팀을 만들었다고 하던데. 정보가 새는 걸 막으려고 감정 오류라고 변명하면서 N2X 유출을 의료사고로 위장하려 했죠?
Luke pauses, then gives a slight nod.
맞아요. 국정원 고위급 관계자들은 진정한 배우를 잡기 전까지 많은 정보가 공개되면 사람들이 혼란에 빠질 거라고 생각하니까요.
이해해요. 나도 장태산이 깨어났다는 소식을 듣고 쓸만한 정보를 얻기 위해 일정 쪼개가면서 온 거거든요. 그런데 아쉽게도 지금은 말 한마디도 제대로 못하는 상태네요. 아직도 상황 파악이 안 되는 것 같아서 헤이슨의 결말을 알려줬죠. 그리고 그 이후의 일은 방금 본 대로예요.
Maris appears calm as he explains everything in detail. In response to his words, Luke is silent for a moment before his eyes fall on Maria's cup.
궁금한 게 있는데 돈도 많으면서 정장은 한 벌밖에 없나 보네요. 유신우 씨, 소매단추 하나가 떨어졌어요.
알려줘서 고마워요. 지금 새로 한 벌 사러 가야겠네요.
Luke watches Maris leave the ward without any intention of stopping him. He then walks to the bed and sees the exhausted Themis still struggling feebly in bed. He presses the bell for the nurse.
병을 더 악화시키기 싫다면 감정을 조절하는 게 좋을 거예요.
With that, Themis stops. While waiting for the nurse to come, Luke carefully searches the ward. As expected, he discovers an exquisitely crafted button lying in a corner under the bed. At the same time, his phone rang.
네, 병원에 왔습니다. 화인 쪽에는 아직 특별한 상황이 없는 것 같으니 계속 지켜봐야 할 것 같습니다.
It is inevitable to pass through the registration and cleaning in Building 1 when leaving the hospital. Passion has been a well-known supplement brand. Due to the reports of medical accidents, aside from the large number of victims who have been affected, even people who have never consumed their supplements are in fear, and many have made appointments in the hospital for a total body checkup. Maris twists and turns his wrist, with Vincent helping to clear a path through the rowdy crowd. He strides towards the hospital's exit.
작은 도련님, 장태산 병실에서 무슨 일이 있으셨습니까? 입고 계신 옷이...
Facing the larger than usual crowd in the hospital, Vincent has no choice but to get closer to Maris so that his voice doesn't get drowned out by the noise. At this distance, he notices creases and a lost button on Maris' originally neat suit.
사고가 좀 있었어요. 오후에 회의가 있으니 아무 데서 새로운 옷을...
All of a sudden, a small figure runs into Maris.
괜찮으십니까?
난 괜찮은데...
Maris lowers his head and is about to help the girl who has knocked him up from the ground, but the girl grabs tightly onto the corner of his shirt instead. He is about the age of a freshman in elementary school, but her grip is unusually strong.
뭐야, 벌써부터 사기라도 치려는 거야?
오빠, 병문안 온 거죠? 혹시 돈 많아요?
그건 왜 물어?
병원에 정장을 입고 오는 사람은 적잖아요. 그러니까 오빠, 혹시 돈 좀 빌려줄 수 있어요? 제가 크면 꼭 갚을게요. 아빠 혼자선 엄마의 치료비를 도저히 모을 수가 없어요.
Maris follows her gaze and scans his surroundings. With the large crowd, he finds it difficult to identify the girl's mother, not to mention that everyone in the hospital seems sick and tired. After a short silence, he gives the girl an indifferent smile.
미안하지만 오빠는 그냥 보험 설계사라서 돈이 없는데 어쩌지? 환자 가족들한테 보험을 팔아야 해서 이미지 관리를 위해 이렇게 입은 거거든.
While gently pushing the girl away from himself, he raises his cup in front of the girl.
이것 봐. 오빠가 빌려온 정장의 단추가 떨어져서 가게에 돈도 물어주게 생겼는걸?
와, 진짜네.
가자, 시온 형. 계속 일해야지.
그래야지. 작은 둘째야.
Maris heaves a long sigh of relief when they finally get out of the hospital, but he shows no sign of heading toward the car park immediately. Instead of hurrying him, Vincent stays with him and gazes at the people going in and out of the door while waiting for the appropriate time to speak.
작은 도련님, 방금 그 일은 제가 처리할까요?
어떻게 처리해야 할지 알고 있는 거예요?
네. 정말 돕고 싶지 않으셨다면 아이의 기분을 의식해서 변명도 하지 않으셨을 겁니다. 방금 같은 상황에서는 도움의 손길을 내밀기도 힘들었을 테니까요.
맞아요. 너무 어린 나이에 원하는 대로 다 얻는 경험을 하게 된다면 나중에 정말 원하는 것을 얻을 수 없을 때 뭔가라도 팔아서 목적을 달성하려 될 거예요.
걱정 마세요, 작은 도련님. 치료비는 제가 병원 측과 협상해 도움을 준 사실을 알 수 없게 하겠습니다.
네. 그리고 직접적인 금전 지원도 금물이에요. 병원에는 보는 눈이 많아서 거액의 치료비를 주면 빼앗길 수도 있으니까요. 원래 사람이 갑자기 자기 능력을 넘어서는 물건을 가지게 되면 되려 그것에 잡아먹히게 되기 마련이죠.
Before he can finish his sentence, a loud ambulance sirens can be heard from far to near, instantly drowning out his voice. The moment the ambulance parks, the medical personnel who were waiting at the door busily transporting while resuscitating the blood-soaked casualty on the stretcher.
작은 도련님, 가시죠. 새로운 정장을 준비해뒀습니다.
Mary snaps out of his daze and note.
한 가지 더. 헤이슨 관련 재판이 끝난 지 얼마 안 됐으니 인터넷 기사랑 언론도 주시해줘요.
걱정하지 마세요. 제가 계속 신경 쓰고 있습니다.
After the trial, Hassan has been thrust into the limelight, taking the top spot in all the lists of trending searches. But gradually, the reports about Antoine's change of their direction after the initial blip.
방금 장태산을 보러 가신 사이에 정부가 또 새로운 보도를 내놓았습니다.
Vincent takes out the tablet and hands it over to Marius. Reports on the Hassan health products containing noxious X-xenogen should not be prematurely concluded. Details of the specific harmful ingredients found are still pending the test results.
흥미로운 말이네요.
After which, an idea seems to strike Marius as he pursed his lips thoughtfully.
여론 동향도 잘 살펴보세요. 쓸데없이 도발하는 기사들은 다 삭제하고요. 통제가 안 될 것 같으면 아니, 나를 방패 삼아 막아도 좋으니 누나가 기자들의 공격을 받지 않게 해줘요.
네, 알겠습니다.
Reports on Hassan health products containing noxious X-xenogen should not be prematurely concluded. Details about the specific harmful ingredients found are still pending the test results. You plan to casually browse through your phone before sleep. But when you saw the trending news placed at the top of the app list, your sleepiness instantly vanished. Indeed, the existing N2X sample can no longer be considered the source of the noxious xenogen epidemic. But to people who don't know about the truth, doesn't this article draws a clear line between Hassan and N2X? Just when you are about to read on, you notice the message counter at the top right corner of the article is already at 999 plus. The avatars of those who send the direct messages range from the manga characters and currently popular celebrities to pictures of dogs, cats, or even emoticons. But they are obviously real human beings. Their messages are also highly varied, a mix of positive and negative. So, is there N2X in Hassan products? What's with that trial? Why aren't you saying anything? Are you silenced by someone? What a joke! That outdated virus has long been eliminated, okay? You should spend more time checking facts online. After entering your account ID in the search engine as a keyword, information about your history pops up everywhere on the result page. The trial about Hazard was the source of the N2X rumor, and as a defense attorney, your information suddenly became everyone's focus of attention. I remember providing my social media account ID to the media a long time ago when they came to the law firm for an interview. It's been so many years. Did they manage to dig it out? Even though the links in most of the posts have expired, there are still many new comments on them. Oh dear. Just when you are worrying if this will cause trouble to the law firm and whether you should inform Artem about it, a post with a very high share count shows up as your homepage refreshes. The post calmly requests for everyone to stop such doxing acts. Due to its large number of followers, the post has attracted many shares. You are about to open the post when your phone rings. Hi, Mr. Wei. Why did you suddenly...
미안해요. 제가 잠을 깨웠나요?
No, of course not. I'm not yet asleep. I was just surprised. Is there any important matter?
네, 맞아요. 내일 말하면 너무 갑작스러울까봐 미리 알려주는 거예요. 일단 내일은 출근하지 말아요.
Huh? I don't have to go to the office. Does that mean... Autumn seems to understand your worries and calmly adds on.
오해하지 마요. 말 그대로 잠시 출근을 하지 말라는 것뿐이니까요. 한동안 사무소 주위에 기자들이 매복해 있을 거예요. 기자들이 쓸데없는 기사를 더 써내면 불필요한 문제가 생길 수 있으니 연 대표님과 상의해서 내린 결론이에요.
Journalists, is it because of the discussions online?
봤어요?
Yeah, it is a fact that has an effervescent packet contains N2X, but the news... This is just bizarre. Arthur falls silent for a few seconds. Over the phone, you faintly hear him heave a soft sigh.
그 일은 내일 본부에서 얘기하죠. 아무튼 누군가가 따라붙을 수 있으니 혼자 집을 나서지 마세요. 준비 끝나고 연락하면 제가 데리러 갈게요.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Wayne.
아니에요. 얼른 자요. 댓글들은 보지 말고요.
Sure, good night, Mr. Wayne. After whispering good night, neither you nor Artem hang up the call immediately. He abruptly breaks the silence with his gentle voice.
분명 잘 해낼 수 있을 거예요. 잘 자요.
By the time you regain your composure, you realize Artem has already hung up the call. In the silence of the night, you can still vaguely hear his gentle and encouraging words reverberating in your ears. However, the more you think about it, the stronger you feel that there's a hidden emotions in his words. like the brief moment of peace that vanishes before the thunderstorm. Antoine's headquarters. The following morning, you and Artem arrive at Antoine's headquarters together for the regular meeting since you're unable to go to the office. The usually lively meeting room has suddenly become quiet. Only Luke is standing alone in front of the empty table. Where are the others?
다들 개인적인 일이 있어서 이번에는 오지 않을 거예요.
Other personal business? Regardless of what happened, Maris and Dr. Richter will never miss a meeting. Your thoughts begin to run wild as you look at Luke. He slumps over the table with a cold expression. In front of him is a holographic display that is connected to the back-end big data lab. Upon hearing the unlocking sound of the door, he looks up and stares at you and Artem thoughtfully before landing his eyes on you.
빨리 왔네? 사무소에도 안 가는 날인데 잠 좀 더 자지 그랬어.
He straightens up and a warm smile spreads across his face as he greets the both of you with his usual hand wave. I guess my body clock doesn't allow that. I usually wake up around this time on weekdays and I don't sleep any later.
강혁 씨도 빨리 왔네요.
Artem picks the father's chair and sits down, looking at the screen.
빅데이터 센터의 권한 일부가 이미 넘어가서 이렇게 빨리 와도 별 소용 없을 텐데요. 아니면 권한을 얻을 수 있는 다른 방법이라도 있는 건가요?
그럴 리가요. 혼자서 뚫을 수 있다면 화인그룹이 존재할 필요가 없겠죠.
What are they saying? Why don't I understand them at all? And what's with the transferred access? Why did no one inform me about it? What do you mean by the access have been transferred? Aren't we in charge of investigating N2X? Moreover, the PAX group has the highest authority over Big Data Lab. No one should be able to hack it.
이번 일은 국정원의 뜻이에요. 헤이슨이 N2X를 불법으로 개발한 사실이 드러나자 국정원에서 특별조사팀을 설립했어요. 밖으로 정보가 새는 것을 막고 빅데이터 센터의 일부 권한을 넘겨받아 철저히 조사할 예정이라고 해요.
NSB? Does that mean NSB is the one pressuring PAX behind the scenes? Luke, did you know about this beforehand? Why would NSB do this all of a sudden? Looking at your questioning eyes, Luke sighs helplessly.
전에 여기랑 접촉을 너무 많이 해서 그런지 이번 일은 나도 통보를 받은 입장이야. 이유는 그들이 제일 잘 알고 있겠지. 이 얘기는 나중에 하고 오늘 아침에 내가 발견한 것부터 보자.
Luke swipes the screen and places case file information on display. All information about cases Hassan is thoroughly involved in, as well as cases suspected to be connected to the harmful effects of N2X, has been logged. Though the team still has access to many cases, all of them seems unrelated to your current investigation.
현재 일반 등급의 사건에 대한 권한은 개방된 상태야. 아침에 훑어봤는데 그중 빅데이터 센터가 최우선으로 지정한 사건이 하나 있더라고. 근데 이상한 점은 1년 전 사건인데 최근에 들어서야 기록이 올라왔어.
You give the file a cursory glance and realize there's not much information on it, though it appears to be a disappearance case. The name of the missing person is Gerard Boone, a 14-year-old teenager. He has been missing ever since he escaped from the 3rd Juvenile Correctional Facility in Salis. Juvenile Correctional Facility, that's a place for minors who have committed crimes or violated the law, where correctional education is conducted for them. Why would this case be at the top? Isn't it usually only cases related to N2X that have such a high priority? The holographic display glows with a faint cold light, like a pair of eyes silently gazing at all three of you.
아쉽지만 빅데이터 센터는 말을 못해. 백은호 씨는 어떻게 보시죠? 전에 실종 사건들을 담당한 걸로 기억하는데요.
그럴 여유 없습니다.
Artem shakes his head. His behavior is different from last night, and his attitude is surprisingly aloof.
요즘 사무소엔 권익 보호 상담이 많이 들어오고 있어요. 의뢰인 대부분은 헤이슨 직원이거나 건강 보조품을 복용했었던 사람들이죠. 전 이쪽 사건을 더 우선적으로 처리할 겁니다. 오늘 이곳에 온 것도 관련 사안을 논의하기 위한 것이고요.
Can the law firm handle it? I don't have any important cases on hand now. How about I helped you?
아니요, 괜찮아요.
But Artem simply rejects your offer and avoids your gaze. His attitude makes you bite back the words you are about to say, and you stand there in silence. Luke notices the awkwardness and immediately breaks the silence.
그럼 이 실종 사건은 우리가 맡을까요?
네, 원래 강혁 씨가 하는 일이니까요.
Artem stands up and prepares to leave. He takes a last look at you before he leaves.
업무는 제가 처리할 테니 걱정 말아요. 며칠 동안은 주변이 어수선할 테니 출근하지 말고요.
Okay, I got it.
그럼 조심해요.
Artem marches out of the room swiftly. His figure disappears before the automatic door has even closed. Having such an invisible barrier between you and him, a feeling of insecurity gradually swells within you. After all, you two had never bid goodbye in such a distant manner before. If that's the case, will the two of you be fine again in the next time you see him?
정신 차려.
Luke spins the touch pen in his hand as he walks towards you and catches you off guard as he taps on your forehead.
이렇게 화면만 보고 있으니까 너무 지루하다. 우리 그냥 출발하자.
Where to?
실종된 우태양이 마지막으로 있었던 미림시 제3소년원으로 가보자.
He takes out his motorcycle key from his pocket and waves it in front of you.
바람 쐬면서 머리도 좀 식히자.
Luke, you're driving too fast. Better slow down in the future.
그래? 네가 지루해할까봐 그런 건데. 다음에는 천천히 볼게.
You remove your helmet and return it to Luke. You try to support your wobbly body with one hand on the motorbike as you survey your surroundings. So that's the third juvenile correctional facility. Speaking of which, that boy is unlikely to be abducted given his age and the tight security of this place. Does his family have no idea about his disappearance? Luke shakes his head and hands you his tablet, which displays the case information. Similar to what Luke has mentioned, there wasn't much information about Gerard Poon, only a few sentences to summarize his 14 years of life. His father passed away long ago from a construction site accident, and his mother also passed on in Stelis Public Hospital due to illness shortly before Gerard's disappearance. About Gerard Poon himself, there is only one line without any details. He had a bad history of causing serious injury to others. It's as though his past is as insignificant as the dust on the ground. Only memorable line in the brief moment is it is whisked into someone's eyes by a gust of wind. This is odd. The information is too brief. It didn't even state why he had conflict with another person. Did someone edit it?
아니, 내가 보기엔 이게 정상이야. 객관적으로 보면 우태양의 이력이나 범죄 기록은 딱히 특별해 보이는 구석이 없어. 해봤자 약간 순조롭지 않은 것뿐이지. 이 세상엔, 특히 미림시에는 비슷한 사람들이 너무 많거든.
Are there so many that even the big data lab find is necessary to keep a detailed record of his history? But if that's the case, why put it at the top of the list? Isn't it contradictory?
그건 그렇지. 하지만 또 다른 가능성도 있어. 우태양이 실종된 지 1년이 지난 지금 엄청난 변화가 일어나서 그 변화가 나비 효과를 일으켰고 우태양의 실종 사건이 중요해진 거지. 넌 어떻게 생각해?
A major change that occurs recently causing a chain reaction. Could it be Hassan? In the recent news, it's only the exposure Hassan health products that have attracted much attention. You exchange a look of understanding with Luke. He doesn't say anything more and walks towards the main door after putting his keys in his pocket.
가자. 기록엔 적혀있진 않지만 뭔가를 기억하고 있는 사람들이 있을 수 있으니 물어보면 알 수 있을 거야.
Okay. Juvenile Correctional Facility. Perhaps because it is lunch hour, the two of you have no problem getting into the correctional facility. Luke brings you directly to the cafeteria. Before you can ask him why he is so familiar with the place, a middle-aged man with a stubble waves at the both of you.
야, 거기 두 녀석 자리 좀 양보해. 맞다. 가는 김에 밥도 두 그릇 더 받아오고 반찬 팍팍 넣어서.
After showing away the two teenagers who were initially occupying the seats, he gestures for you and Luke to have a seat.
아직 밥 안 먹었지? 먹으면서 얘기하자고. 아이고 아가씨, 괜찮으니까 앉아요. 어서.
일단 입 안에 있는 것부터 다 먹고 얘기하죠. 다 튀는데.
Luke frowns and takes out a tissue to clean the table before you, which is dirtied with rice and oil stains. From your impression, you don't remember Luke ever speaking to anyone with that tone, impatient yet revealing his close relationship with the other person. Luke, do you two know each other?
그런 셈이야. 이 소년원의 관리자인 고씨 아저씨야.
혁이랑은 오래 알던 사이죠.
Old pals, wasn't Luke always in the capital before he came back? Luke doesn't seem to deny it, but doesn't continue the topic either. It is obvious that he isn't keen to talk about the past.
본론으로 들어가죠. 고씨 아저씨, 혹시 우태양이라는 아이를 기억하세요?
오, 우태양이라. 기억하고 말고. 정말이지. 멀쩡하던 녀석이 그렇게 갑자기 사라지더니 그 아이 때문에 상부에서 징계도 받았지 뭐야.
Terry angrily slams his chopstick on the table. You can't help but startle a little at his sudden change in emotion.
이곳의 관리자로서 딱히 짚히는 게 없나요?
없어. 몰래 울타리를 넘어서 나간 거라. 그리고 이유는 알 수 없지만 그날 저녁 주변 감시 카메라가 모두 망가져 있더라고. 게다가 여긴 지대가 좋지 않아서 감시 카메라에도 사각지대가 많아. 그래서 순식간에 놓치고 말았지.
Were there any abnormalities in his performance in this juvenile correctional facility or his interpersonal relationships? Both his parents had passed on and he was alone. Why would he suddenly escape? Or did someone instigate him to do so?
이런. 아가씨, 설마 날 의심하는 거예요?
Huh? Terry narrows his eyes and is about to continue his words, but Luke interrupts him.
고씨 아저씨.
농담은 이만할게. 사실 우태양에 대해서는 나도 잘 몰라. 여기 있었던 시간은 고작 일주일이었다고. 말썽꾸러기 녀석이라 그 짧은 시간에도 2번이나 싸움을 일으켜서 징계도 받고 그랬어.
싸움이요? 뭐 때문에요?
몰라. 확실한 건 우태양이 먼저 싸움을 건 것 같은데 둘 다 입을 안 열더라고. 필요하다면 그때의 일을 기록해둔 문서가 있는데 거기에 관련 기록들이 다 남아있을 거야.
Terry gobbles down the rest of his food swiftly after he finishes his words. His bowl is empty within a second and he gets up.
일단 먹고 있어. 내가 가서 찾아올게.
You and Luke initially wanted to follow along, but before you two can stand up, 2 meal sets are placed on the table right before you. Oh, thank you. The 2 boys don't reply. They give you a too surly glance after placing down the food, then leave without a word.
먹자. 이 정도 시간은 있으니까. 고씨 아저씨는 꼼꼼한 사람이 아니거든. 아마 컴퓨터에 백업도 안 해놔서 오래 걸릴 거야.
Okay, then let's eat first. You pick up your chopsticks, ready to question Luke more about his relationship with Terry. Suddenly, you hear a sharp, loud sound coming from not far away, followed by a burst of rowdy laughter. You follow Luke's line of sight and turn your head to look at the table diagonally across yours. A skinny and frail boy crouches down on the floor. In front of him is his uneaten food split all over the floor. There is a few people around him with smirks on their faces. Did they do this to him?
왜? 이젠 밥도 못 먹겠어?
어린 나이에 벌써 손을 그렇게 떨어서 어떡해. 내일 점심도 그냥 여기 나타나지 말고 식당 아주머니한테 가서 배식이나 배우라고.
미안해. 미안.
Look, aren't they going overboard? Should we help out? Luke, who was quietly observing the situation, shakes his head.
아니야. 넌 일단 밥 먹고 있어. 이런 상황은 내가 익숙하니까 가볼게.
As he walks over, the smile on his face vanishes. He glares at the boy, giving off an imposing vibe.
이름이 뭐니?
이지안이요.
바닥에 쏟아진 음식은 어떻게 된 거야?
당신은 뭐야? 흑기 살아도 납셨나? 아는 사이 아니면 그냥 가던 길 가시죠.
The boy who spoke looked rough, about 16 years old. He seems to be proud of his strong build, which appears to be larger than most of his friends. He steps forward and tries to push Luke. In an instant, Luke holds the boy down on a nearby table.
아파. 팔 빠져요. 팔 빠진다고요.
너한테 안 물어봤으니까 조용히 있어.
Luke releases his grip. In a second, the surrounding rowdy onlookers hurriedly scatter. When the atmosphere has finally quietened down, Luke takes a few steps nearer and stares at the helpless boy who is still crouching on the floor.
왜 음식이 다 땅에 떨어져 있는 거야?
제가 식판을 제대로 못 잡아서 실수로 떨어뜨린 거예요.
그럼 네가 책임지고 다 치워.
But why? He's obviously the victim. You hesitate for a short moment before you decide to put down your chopstick and run over to the boy. You crouch down to help him up. Let me clean it for you. I've not eaten mine. You can go ahead and take it.
잠깐만. 일은 버려놓은 사람이 수습하는 거야. 그런 건 유치원에서부터 배웠잖아?
But he's not the culprit. It's obvious that he was bullied by those boys just now. In the face of this obvious situation, you can't help but raise your volume and look. Luke remains quiet for a moment before he lowers his voice and remains composed.
네가 어떻게 알아? 직접 봤어?
No, you only turned your head after hearing the loud commotion.
The food was already spilled on the floor at the time. But when it happened, those boys weren't sitting down and having their meals. Instead, they were standing right beside him. Isn't it obvious that they were involved?
그건 걔네들이 장난치다가 실수로 저를 건드려서 그런 거예요. 괜찮아요, 누나. 제가 아주머니를 불러서 치워달라고 할게요.
거기서 내 말은 직접 치우라는 거야.
하지만 알겠어요.
Julian unhappily picks up the rice on the floor with his hands. Just as he's about to discard them in the bin, Luke shifts the nearby bin away with his leg. After which he points to the bowl on the floor.
식판에 담아서 먹어.
뭐라고요?
식판에 담아서 내 앞에서 먹으라고. 여러 번 말하게 만들지 마.
Luke! Luke boldly glances at you and ignores your protest.
Julian bites his lower lips and finally gathers his courage to voice out his displeasure with Luke.
하지만 땅에 떨어져서 더러워졌는데 어떻게 먹어요?
그럼 싱크대로 가져가서 씻어서 먹어.
무슨 말이에요? 그래도 못 먹는다고요.
왜 못 먹어? 방금 네가 장난치면서 음식을 낭비하는 동안 누군가는 먹을 게 없어서 굶어 죽고 있어. 넌 적어도 굶지 않아도 되잖아. 뭐가 그렇게 억울한데?
Julian appears guilty, but with Luke driving him into a corner, he finally loses his cool and throws his handful of rice on the floor.
하지만 제 잘못도 아니잖아요. 일부러 쏟은 것도 아닌데 왜 쟤네한테는 아무 말도 안 하는 건데요?
Luke suddenly watches the young boy's outburst. Just when you thought that Luke was going to scold him harshly, he lets out a sigh, surprising you. His imposing look vanishes instantly as he reveals a hapless smile.
잘 알고 있었네. 네 잘못이 아닌 걸 잘 알고 있으면서 왜 방금 저 아이들이 널 괴롭힐 때는 가만히 있었어.
Juvenile Correctional Facility.
왜 안 먹어? 아까부터 말도 없고 나한테 화났어?
You jerk your head around and your eyes meet Luke's. He blinks his eye as he's trying to get back in your good books. I'm not mad, but your performance was so convincing just now. I still can't get over it now.
아, 미안해. 그렇게 긴장하게 만들 줄은 몰랐네. 내가 아까 말했잖아. 이런 상황은 익숙하다고. 교관이었을 때 악역 연기를 제일 잘했거든.
Instructor, I see. You lower your head and see there's nearly half a plate of food left, which reminds you of Luke's scolding about food wastage just now. Will he scold you if you can't finish it and discard the leftovers? You secretly glance at Luke and take a few deep breaths. Just when you're ready to gobble down the leftovers, your plate is suddenly taken away.
내가 무서운 건 아니지? 못 먹겠으면 그만 먹어. 내가 먹을게.
Are you able to finish it?
당연하지. 어렸을 때 네가 먹기 싫다고 몰래 나한테 다 넘겨줬잖아. 그때부터 단련된 거야.
As you two are chatting, Julian, who is sitting opposite you, can no longer tolerate and speak.
저기 저 아직 미성년자인데 그만하시면 안 될까요?
네 밥이나 열심히 먹어. 어른들이 하는 얘기는 듣는 거 아니야. 알겠어?
Julian nods as he buries his head in his bowl and continues eating. He then raises his head again and looks at Luke expectantly.
그래서 두 분은 새로 오신 교관이에요?
당연히 아니지. 우리는 누군가에 대해 알아보려고 온 거야.
아, 그렇구나. 그럼 누구에 대해 알려고 오신 건데요?
Jared Boone, have you heard of this name? He was here a year ago and stayed for a period. It should be around your age. You aren't expecting much from Julian and are just looking for topics to chat with the slightly disappointed boy. Instead, Julian's eyes go wide when he hears the name.
우태양?
Did you know him?
아, 들어봤어요. 실종됐다고 하던데.
고시 아저씨가 그때 실종된 건 비밀로 하고 다른 소년원의 간고로 처리했다던데 넌 어떻게 알고 있는 거야?
그게...
Luke stands up with blank expression. Before he can walk toward Julian, the boy has already cowered in fear.
마지막으로 본 건
우태양이 소년원을 떠나던 그날 그곳에 있었구나.
네, 제 룸메이트였거든요. 새벽에 우태양이 일어나는 소리를 듣고 몰래 따라갔어요.
Roommate. Gerard had only stayed in this correctional facility for a week. Besides his roommate, it should be tough for him to be close to others. And the same should apply when making hostile relationship. Hence, could those fighting incidents be due to... How was your relationship with Gerard? Was it good?
당연하죠. 의리 있는 녀석이었어요. 누가 까부는 꼴은 못 보겠다면서 절 괴롭히는 녀석들을 몰래 혼내줬어요. 그 후론 괴롭히지 않다가 우태양이 가고 나니까 다시...
그렇게 사이가 좋았으면서 왜 지금까지 우태양이 실종된 상황에 대해 말해주지 않은 거야?
그건... 그 사람도 나쁜 사람 같아 보이진 않았거든요.
That person, there was someone else then? Julian nodded. His eye revealed a hint of envy that you cannot understand.
골목 끝에서 우태양을 기다리고 있었어요. 주변이 너무 어두워서 남자인지 여자인지 구별은 안 갔지만 우태양이 다가가니까 그 사람이 친근하게 손을 잡아주는 게 보였어요. 전 어렸을 때부터 지금까지 엄마가 손을 잡아준 적도 없거든요. 그래서 나쁜 일은 없을 거라 생각했어요. 그리고 원장님은 무서운 사람이라 사실대로 말하면 제가 밤에 몰래 건물을 빠져나갔다고 벌을 줄 게 뻔해요.
사춘기 녀석들 참 민감하다니까.
Luke tussles Julian's hair with his hand.
남자가 되어서 말이야. 네 손을 잡아주는 사람이 없다면 네가 먼저 다른 사람의 손을 잡을 줄도 알아야지. 아직 젊고 시간도 많잖아. 벌써 슬퍼하기에는 너무 일러.
Yeah, Luke's right. As long as you lead a good life when you're out of here, and I'm sure you can find someone willing to hold your hand and walk through life with you. As for your concerns about the punishment, it's not hard to understand his concern. The director doesn't seem like an understanding man.
고씨 아저씨에 대해 오해하고 있는 것 같은데 물론 행동을 보면 탓할 순 없지만 고약한 성격에 발도 잘 안 씻고 말도 막해도 사실은 좋은 사람이야.
Luke looks at Julian seriously and starts talking about Terry's past. According to Luke, before Terry came to this correctional facility 2 years ago, he had been serving in the military in the capital. Even though he and Terry were under different divisions, they knew each other well because of their great reputations, and because Terry is a very good guy. And at that time, a group of citizens jointly reported that this correctional facility was practicing physical punishments. Being well known as a good guy, Terry was deployed to Salis to investigate this case. At first, all the dark secrets were concealed beneath a seemingly peaceful atmosphere by the previous director. It was only until Terry was about to leave when a kid struggled to break free and grabbed the corner of Terry's shirt, begging him for help.
살려주세요. 저도 데려가 주세요. 저 사람들이 절 죽일 거예요.
무슨 말을 한 거야, 이 녀석아? 분명 잘못을 저질렀으니 이곳에 온 거겠지. 널 내가 어떻게 데려가겠냐? 널 데려가는 건 불가능하지만 네 말이 진짜라면 내가 남아서 이 쓰레기 같은 곳을 고쳐볼 생각은 있지.
원장님이 그랬다고요?
수도에서 유명했어. 이곳으로 온다는 건 직급이 낮아지는 거나 다름없거든.
It is then you understand why Luke is certain that Julian is the one who has been keeping silent about the bug bullying and not that no one is willing to help him. That's because Luke knows that if Julian were to inform Terry about it, Terry would never ignore him.
정말 그런 분인 줄은 몰랐어요.
그러니까 뭐든 시도를 해봐야 하는 거야. 미지는 가끔 희망을 의미하기도 하거든. 한 번 해서 안 되면 몇 번이고 다시 해봐. 죽지 않는 한 상황은 얼마든지 바꿀 수 있어. 아무것도 안 하는 것보다는 낫지.
With that, Luke tousles Julian's hair again.
알겠어? 그 누구도 널 평생 도와줄 수는 없어. 괴롭힘 당하기 싫으면 직접 저항하는 법을 배워야 해.
Before you two leave, Luke also teaches Julian a few simple self-defense moves and reminds him to always ask for help. After leaving the cafeteria, the both of you travel down to Terry's office and collect Gerard's detailed record. The names of the officers who were in charge of the incidents were stated in the record. Based on the photograph, it seems like the victims were the group of boys who were bullying Julian just now. Indeed, it seems like the two fighting cases happened because Gerard wanted to get justice for Julian. He's a righteous boy who hates when the strong prey on the weak. As a fuller image of Gerard starts to form in your mind, you notice another important detail in the record that makes you think twice about what you thought. Gerard was sent to the correctional facility because of a violent incident where the victim suffered from an eye injury. According to the information stated, the victim is a nurse working in the Salis Public Hospital. Her name is Sky Harper. A nurse. If I didn't remember wrongly, Gerard's mother passed on due to illness before his disappearance. Could it be?
맞아. 같은 병원이야. 현재까지 파악된 정보에 따르면 우태양은 몰래 소년원을 탈출한 후 정체불명의 누군가와 접촉을 했어. 우태양의 실종은 누군가가 계획해서 벌인 일일 가능성이 매우 높아. 그리고 이 폭행 사건에도 의문점이 있어. 우태양이 간호사를 폭행한 건 어머니가 돌아가시기 전이야.
Huh? Was it before? If assumptions were made based on Gerard's personality, he should be a righteous but reckless boy. It was more likely for him to be overwhelmed by the grief of his mother's passing that he injured the nurse. But if he injured the nurse before his mother's passing, what could be his reason? This file doesn't seem to record the reason for that incident. If Gerard had chosen to secretly help Julian in the correctional facility because he understood the latest fears, then what was his reason for hitting the nurse? Even the nurse said that she was unsure of the reason. I felt this incident was unjustified unless the nurse did something.
만약 정말 그 간호사의 잘못으로 심각한 실수를 저질렀다면 우태양은 피해자의 가족이니까 진실에 대해 숨길 필요가 없어. 그렇게 되면 나의 원수가 법의 처벌을 피할 수 있게 되잖아?
You're right. So do you mean the nurse was the real victim in this incident? If that were the case, could Gerard's disappearance be due to her revenge? Luke evidently has no conclusion either. He passes you the helmet and points to his bike behind him.
여기서 추측해도 알 길이 없으니까 가서 직접 만나보자.
Themis Public Hospital. Knowing the name of the nurse, it only takes a short while for you to ask around and finally find her along the corridor of the wards. The nurse is diligently going in and out of every department, completely swamped with work. When she finally has breathing room,
수간호사님, 별일 없으면 일단 식당 가서 밥 좀 먹고 오겠습니다.
잠깐 하간호사, 밥은 조금 있다가 먹고 306호 환자 실밥 좀 풀어줘요. 가족들이 계속 재촉하더라고.
네, 바로 가겠습니다.
seeing that she has no time to spare, you two decide not to disturb her first and observe her from afar. Her workbench seems to be different from the other nurses. Could it be because she's still not full-time staff? But it's been at least a year since Gerard disappeared. Looks like the nurses have their time tight too. There seems to be some nasty scars on her arm. They look like scratches marks. Was she accidentally scratched while caring for a patient? I'll ask her about it later when I have the chance. Why is the color of her left pupil different from the one on her right? Did she forget to put in one of her colored contact lenses? But with a nurse workload, wearing something like that for extended periods can cause eye strain and affect their vision. Why is the color of her left pupil different from the one on her right? The records state that Gerard once badly injured her eye. Was it that bad that she had to use a prosthetic eye? Harper's job as a healthcare worker seems really tough. I guess it's hard for her to make time for us any soon.
치료가 더 급하니까 우린 좀 기다리자.
As you notice how she shows concern for her patients despite her busy schedule, you became more and more doubtful. By definition, she definitely appears to be an excellent nurse. What exactly provoked Gerard then and made him injure her eye?
Themis Public Hospital. By the time Harper is done with her work, it has way past the lunch hour.
자, 일단 가서 밥 먹어요. 20분 안에 먹고 와야 돼요. 또 해야 할 일들이 있으니까.
네, 알겠습니다.
However, the cafeteria is already closed and there is not enough time for delivery. Harper sighed as Hugh and Luke walked toward her.
하간호사님, 저희가 식당에서 밥을 포장해 왔는데 아직 따뜻해요. 그냥 놔두면 버려야 해서 낭비니까 대신 먹어주세요.
Luke leaves a bag of food that contains meat, vegetables, rice, and a bowl of warm soup in front of Harper and reveals a friendly smile. Not bad, Luke. I didn't even think of that.
아니에요. 저녁에 두 분이서 드세요. 전 빵을 좀 먹으면 돼요.
괜찮아요. 안 그래도 하간호사님이 시간 좀 내주셔야 할 것 같아서요. 답리라고 생각해주세요.
담리예요? 어느 환자분의 가족이시죠?
아니요. 여쭤보고 싶은 게 있어서요.
Luke speaks as he shows her his identity. His tone becomes more professional, not as casual as before.
국정원에서 나왔습니다. 혹시 우태양을 아시나요?
우태양... 알죠.
그럼 저희와 잠시 얘기를 나누실 수 있을까요? 식사도 하시면서 얘기하면 좋을 것 같네요.
Under Luke's varying persuasion techniques, Harper hesitates for a brief moment but eventually nods her head.
네. 그럼 바깥에 있는 공원으로 가시죠.
Leisure Park. After that, the three of you go to a long bench in the park beside the hospital.
자, 드시면서 얘기하세요. 식겠어요.
Perhaps due to bad timing, as Luke passes the bag of food to Harper, she fails to take hold in time and it slips off his hand. The bag of food falls straight onto the ground. Oh no! You step forward to pick it up and inspect the contents. Thank God nothing spills except for a small amount of the soup. I'm sorry, Nurse Harper.
그런 말씀 마세요. 두 분 덕분에 점심을 먹을 수 있게 된걸요.
Look, have you forgotten about what happened in the correctional facility? You have to be punished for dropping food on the ground. You joke about what happened to lighten the atmosphere, but Luke stands quietly, ignoring your words. Noticing his abnormal behavior, you hurriedly but gingerly tug on his sleeve. I'm just kidding. Are you angry?
방금 뭐라고 했어?
So you were just in a daze? That's unexpected. I thought you were angry with me.
아, 미안. 잠시 다른 생각을 했네.
Harper can't help but laugh as she slowly removes the food containers from the bag.
저도 가끔씩 바쁘게 일하다가 다른 생각을 할 때가 있거든요. 그래서 수간호사님한테 혼난 적도 있어요. 아, 묻고 싶은 게 있으시면 바로 물어보세요. 시간이 부족할까봐 걱정이네요.
Okay, then let's begin. I suppose it's not easy to be a nurse. Do you usually have time for meals?
맞아요. 병원에는 워낙 돌발 상황이 많이 일어나니까요. 환자의 건강이 우선이죠.
You look very proficient at your work. You must have done this job for a long time. But your work card says that you're still not employed full-time. Would you mind talking about it? Harper purses her lips and smiles somewhat bitterly.
전 계약직 간호사예요. 정직원이 되려면 공석이 생겨야 신청할 수가 있는데 경쟁이 너무 치열해서 기회를 못 잡고 있죠.
I see.
굳은 일은 다 도맡아 하지만 대우는 정직원에 비하면 좋지 않다고 들었어요. 불공평한 것 같은데 불만은 없으신가요?
아니요. 전 제일이 좋아요. 게다가 시에서 제일 좋은 병원이라
계약직으로 일하는 것조차도 쉽지 않거든요. 여긴 그나마 다른 병원보다 대우도 좋은 편이라 충분히 만족하고 있어요.
I'm glad to hear that. After all, being happy is the most important thing. Nurse Harper, did you get those scars on your wrist from work?
아, 이거요.
Probably concerned about her appearance, Harper slightly lowers her head and nervously touches her arms.
아시다시피 거즈 교체라든지 소변출 작업이 환자들에겐 고통스러운 일이잖아요. 너무 아파서 참기 힘들면 제 손을 잡기도 하는데 잘못하면 손톱에 긁혀서 이런 상처가 남기도 해요. 일부러 그런 건 아니니까 그냥 참고 넘어가는 거죠.
She seems to be a nurse who is strongly dedicated to her work.
하 간호사님, 먼저 우태양에 대해 아시는 게 있다면 알려주시겠어요?
태양이는 아직 어린애라 이렇게 뒤에서 얘기하고 싶진 않지만 정말 좋은 말이 나오지 않는 아이예요.
부담 가지실 필요 없습니다. 저희는 그냥 상황 파악을 하러 온 것뿐이니까요. 있는 그대로 말씀해 주시면 돼요.
그렇다면 제일 기억에 남는 건 경찰이 자주 병원에 찾으러 왔다는 거예요.
Police? What did he do?
듣기로는 바깥의 가게에서 물건을 훔치고 사기까지 쳤다고 해요. 자세한 건 잘 모르고 다 환자분들한테 들은 이야기예요. 그런데 꽤 믿을만한 것 같아요. 병원 내부에서도 태양이에게 돈을 도둑맞은 환자가 있었고 현행범으로 붙잡은 적도 있다고 들었어요.
Hearing about these new misdeeds, Luke ponders for a moment.
간호사님, 혹시 이런 일들이 우태양의 어머니와 관련이 있었을까요?
Hearing this, Harper looks a little gloomy.
어쩌면요. 한부모 가정이라고 들었어요. 친척들은 전혀 신경 쓰지 않았고 생활지원금을 받아서 생활하고 있다고 했거든요. 이런 잘못된 행동을 벌인 것도 어머니의 치료비를 모으기 위한 것일 수도 있어요. 하지만 그런 얘기는 한 적이 없으니 제3자는 그냥 추측하는 수밖에 없죠.
Speaking of Gerard's mother, do you know what disease she had?
죄송해요. 전 주치의가 아니라 자세하게는 몰라요. 안다고 해도 알려드릴 수도 없고요. 제가 알려드릴 수 있는 건 종양내과에 입원하고 계셨으니 암 같은 병이었겠죠.
Do you remember how long she was in hospital for?
자세히는 기억이 안 나는데 길어야 한 달 정도였을 거예요.
A month? That's a short time.
그분은 어땠는지 알려주실 수 있나요? 예를 들어 우태양을 대하는 태도라든지요.
Hearing this, Harper frowns.
우태양에 대한 태도라면 다른 사람들이 보기엔 문제가 없었을 거예요. 하지만 다른 때는 상당히 좋지 못했죠.
Do you mean the way she treated medical staff?
맞아요. 자주 저한테 전문적이지 못하다거나 날 죽이려는 거냐고 묻곤 했거든요. 의료진으로서 누구보다 환자의 빠른 쾌유를 바라는 사람이 그런 생각을 할 리가요.
I didn't expect Gerard's mother to be such a person. I wonder if she was born this way or if the sickness made her into an irritable and grumpy person. But at least it seems like she treated Gerard well. Nurse Harper, did your dispute with Gerard have anything to do with his mother? Harper freezes for a moment, then sighs helplessly.
맞아요. 다 알고 계신 것 같으니 저도 굳이 숨길 필요는 없겠네요. 태양이는 제가 자기 어머니를 제대로 보살피지 않는다고 생각해서 마찰이 있었던 적이 있었어요. 그리고 몸싸움이 벌어질 정도로 사태가 악화된 것도 아마 같은 이유에서일 거예요. 하지만 전 억울해요. 방금 말씀드렸다시피 전 의료진으로서 환자에게 해가 될 일은 절대 하지 않았다고요.
She speaks with a sincere tone and shows no signs of lying. But what she said is different from the records in the file. Then why didn't you tell the police the reason when you made a statement?
그저 제 추측일 뿐이니까요. 제 마음대로 말했다가 경찰이 조사를 시작한다면 분명 병원에게 책임을 물을 거예요.
That makes sense, but if that's true, then Gerard has no reason to hide it. As you ponder over it, Luke changes the question.
실례지만 우태양이 그때 간호사님의 눈을 때렸나요?
그런 셈이죠. 하지만 정확히는 태양이가 저를 밀었고 제가 넘어지는 과정에서 책상의 모서리에 부딪혀 다친 거예요.
Was it serious?
괜찮아요. 돌이킬 수 없을 정도로 손상이 되어서 안구를 적출했지만 일상생활에 큰 지장은 없거든요.
Harper smiles. It doesn't look like a first smile.
병원에서 이런 일은 자주 일어나요. 저번 주에는 어느 의사 선생님이 흥분한 환자 가족한테 뺨을 맞기도 했어요. 우리 간호사들은 환자들과 접촉하는 빈도가 더 높으니 마찰이 더 자주 생기죠. 언제쯤 서로를 이해하고 배려할 수 있을까요?
Her smile gradually fades away and turns into a heavy sigh.
하 간호사님, 우태양과 마지막으로 만나신 건 언제인가요?
마지막으로요. 제 기억이 맞다면 태양이 어머니가 사망했을 때였을 거예요. 그리고 얼마 후에 소년원에 갔다고 들었어요.
Nurse Harper, you've never visited him after that, is that correct?
네. 제가 굳이 가야 할 이유도 없잖아요.
Harper seems to think of something and pauses for a moment.
그런데 경찰이 이후에 또 저를 찾아왔어요. 얼마 안 돼서 실종되었다고 들었는데 맞나요?
맞아요. 혹시 생각나시는 게 있나요?
잘 모르겠네요. 그때 경찰한테도 똑같이 말했거든요. 그런데 딱히 걱정할 필요는 없다고 생각해요. 아마 소년원에 계속 있기 싫어서 자취를 감춘 게 아닐까요?
Is that really all there is to it?
다른 볼 일이 없으시다면 먼저 일하러 돌아가 보겠습니다. 점심 챙겨주셔서 감사해요.
After Harper leaves, you and Luke exchange glances.
너도 뭔가 이상하다는 게 느껴졌어?
Yeah, Nurse Harper's individual answers seems to make sense, but if you look at them as a whole, they appear to contradict each other. First of all, her attitude toward this job as a nurse. She said that she was very satisfied with the job and had no complaints at all. But when bringing up the topic of doctor-patient relationships, she couldn't help expressing her grievances. Which means that the hospital doesn't have a bad working environment, but everyone is bound to meet some bumps along the way. Plus, she hadn't been able to become a full-time worker despite her heavy workload. Wouldn't one normally have complaints about something like that? An extreme evaluation like this feels like a facade meant to hide something.
그런 말이 있잖아. 거짓말은 결국 또 다른 거짓말을 낳게 된다고. 앞뒤에 모순이 있다는 건 어느 부분은 거짓일 가능성이 매우 높다는 거야.
It it would make some sense if she's afraid of bad-mouthing the hospital in front of outsiders in case it negatively affects her work. But if so, then her attitude towards her own eye injury doesn't quite sit right. Skyhopper said that Gerard may have lashed out at her because he suspected that she wasn't taking good care of his mother. However, she also expressed that she has a clear conscience when it comes to taking care of her patients. If so, then wouldn't it be an undeserved misfortune for her? She even went blind in one eye from it. So how can she still be so nonchalant about this?
맞아. 전혀 신경 쓰지 않는 것 같았어.
Blindness lasts for a lifetime. Is it really something that's so easy to brush off without a single word of complaint?
우태양 실종 사건에 대한 하은설 씨의 태도 기억나?
She said that it was nothing to be worried about and that he probably didn't want to stay in juvenile correctional facility, so he went into hiding.
이재한의 증언에 따르면 우태양은 자발적으로 누군가를 따라간 게 맞아. 하지만 그 일에 대해서는 고씨 아저씨도 아는 바가 없다고 했지. 그리고 상식적으로 미성년자가 1년 동안 실종된 상태인데 보통 그냥 자취를 감춘 것뿐이라고 생각할까? 우태양 혼자로서는 경찰의 눈을 피해 1년 동안 지낼 능력이 없어.
That's true. A disappearance this long would normally lead others into thinking that perhaps something bad happened. Unless she knew where Gerard was and might be directly involved in it. Plus, she does have a motive for doing so. After all, she only went blind in one eye because of him. Come to think of it, Nurse Hoppus is pretty suspicious. Luke knows but doesn't seem to be at ease because of the new dots.
지금까지 봐서는 그렇지. 하지만 우태양은 예전에도 절도 같은 범죄를 저질렀기 때문에 누군가의 미움을 샀을 가능성도 배제할 수 없어. 조금 있다가 경찰에게 우태양의 범죄 기록을 요청해야겠어. 기다리면서 일단
Before he can finish, a loud tirade exploded from nearby.
어이, 점쟁이! 뚫린 입이라고 함부로 말하는 거야? 그래, 우리 마누라한테 아주 저주를 하시지!
The stout and strong man kicks away the items that are laid out on the ground of the straight stall. His strength is so great that one of the talismans with unknown symbols painted on it is sent flying and lands next to your feet. Your eyes follow the direction of the source of the talisman, where you notice not far from you there are 8 trigrams compass, a container of lots, and other similar items scattered on the floor. It does seem like a fortune-telling stall. The man looks at his wife beside him, who is coughing non-stop. He instantly loses his temper and reaches out to grab the fortune teller by the collar, ready to hit the latter. This is bad. Before you can say a word, Luke moves toward the man. He quickly intercepts from the side and grabs the man's wrist from the back. Despite being right-handed, Luke can easily stop the man from throwing that punch with his left hand.
때리지는 말고 말로 하시죠.
야, 넌 누구야? 이 점쟁이가 내 아내를 저주했다고. 너 같으면 참을 수 있겠어?
여기 이 점술사가 당신한테 억지로 점을 봐준 겁니까?
아이, 아파. 알겠어, 알겠다고. 어서 이거 놔.
When Luke finally releases him, he stares at Luke angrily.
안 맞아본 사람은 아픈 줄도 모른다더니 정말 너무 불공평하잖아.
그럼 경찰에 신고하죠.
아니,
The man is about to raise his face again when his wife begins to cough vigorously. He hurriedly backs down.
이놈들한테 신경 쓸 시간 없다. 여보, 일단 진료나 보러 가자. 조심해.
The man holds onto his wife's frail body and slowly leaves the park. You breathe a sigh of relief. Great, glad that things didn't get worse. He may be bad-tempered, but seems like a caring husband.
방금 이걸 보고도 칭찬을 한다고?
Luke smiles and is about to continue when the silent fortune teller suddenly walks over to you. Despite her ordinary clothes, she gives off a unique impression due to her mysterious eyes.
감사합니다. 제가 가진 게 별로 없어서 담례로 두 분께 무료로 점을 받으려도 될까요?
Hopper content with current situation. Hopper is a permanent employee because the hospital doesn't have vacancies, but she loves her job and is already satisfied just by working here. Scratches on the arm. The scratches on Hopper's arm were left by a patient. Gerard's deception. Gerard used to steal and commit fraud to get money. Gerard's mother's attitude. Gerard's mother had a bad attitude towards the medical staff and often mocked them. Conflict between Hopper and Gerard. Gerard believed that Hopper did not take good care of his mother and had a dispute with her, but Hopper didn't think that was her fault. Hopper eye injury. Hopper was shocked by Gerard, which resulted in her eye injury. She had that eye removed and believed that this incident did not affect her life. Sufficient motive for crime. Gerard is the reason why Hopper lost her eye, so she might hold a grudge against him and want revenge on him. Conflict-prone work environment. Medical workers often have to deal with emotional family members of patients. Conflict between the two are often seen in hospitals. Leisure Park. You wish to tell us our fortunes? Faced with the offer from the fortune teller, Luke rejects it without any hesitation.
괜찮습니다. 별거 아니었는데요, 뭘.
그래요.
She nods and silently packs her items before leaving. Fortune tellers usually only say good and ambiguous words, but she's different. That's kind of special.
그래? 안 좋은 말을 해서 부적을 팔려고 하는 걸 수도 있잖아. 그런 사건에 대해서 많이 들어봤거든. 몰랐는데 너 그런 미신을 믿어?
If you ask me about it, I don't believe in it. I believe that our fates lie in our hands. Anything can happen in the future. How can we believe in the fortune tellers? If they can really foresee our futures, they will be scared. That will be scary.
무서울 것 없어. 사람이 운명을 좌우한다고 믿는다며 예측했다고 하더라도 자신의 힘으로 운명의 방향을 바꿀 수 있을 거야. 그리고 네 힘이 부족하다고 해도 내가 있잖아. 걱정 마. 내가 지켜줄게.
Look, that's my wish for you too. I want you to be safe and sound, and may your life be smooth. To avoid the mood turning sorrowful, you smile and hurriedly change the topic. I've told you my answer, so it's your turn now. Do you believe in it?
나? 믿냐 안 믿냐보다는 점을 볼 필요 자체가 없다고 생각해.
Why is that? Luke doesn't respond to your question directly. He bends over and picks up the talisman beside your feet, which has been completely forgotten by the owner.
예전에 외계인들이 등장하는 게임을 한 적이 있었는데 그 외계 생물들은 태어날 때부터 미래를 예측할 수 있었어. 하지만 그들은 정해진 운명에 저항하지 않고 예측된 궤도와 운명을 따르는 것을 택했지. 난 그때 너무 어려서 이상하다고 생각했거든. 나였다면 분명 다른 길을 걸었을 거야. 하지만 나이를 먹으면서 그 이유에 대해 조금씩 알게 된 것 같아.
Luke thoughtfully fiddles with the talisman, the way he fiddled with the edge of his homework paper when met with difficult questions as a student.
어쩌면 그게 바로 생물의 본능인가 봐. 어쩌면 이미 다 알고 있었는지도 몰라. 운명을 정확히 알고 있다면 운명에서 벗어나려는 행위도 자유롭지 못할 테니까. 운명에서 벗어난다는 행위 자체가 앞으로의 인생이 미지의 것들로 가득 차서 예측할 수 없는 일들에 얽매이게 되는 거잖아. 그럼 처음부터 아무것도 모르는 게 차라리 나을지도 몰라. 처음부터 미지의 상태를 유지하는 것이야말로 진정 자유로운 상태인 거지. 그래서 난 점 보는 게 싫어. 진짜든 아니든 그냥 싫어.
In the end, he crushes the talisman and discards it into the bin next to the park trail.
슈레딩거의 고양이라고 들어봤어? 한참 유명했었는데.
Yes, I've heard of it. Presumably, it means only after opening the box can you decide whether the cat is alive or dead, right?
맞아. 구체적인 이론이 중점은 아니지만 이해하기 쉽게 예를 들자면 상자를 열기 전에는 생사에 대한 희망과 공포는 대등하게 존재하고 있는 셈이야. 하지만 어떤 경로를 통해 상자를 열면 고양이가 반드시 죽을 거라는 것을 알게 되고 그때가 돼서 운명을 바꾸려면 몇 배의 어려움과 큰 심리적 스트레스를 받아야 할 거야.
Hence, isn't it better to know nothing in the first place? For a moment, you don't know how to reply to him. Meanwhile, Luke doesn't seem keen to discuss the topic further. He heaves a sigh of relief before he points to the jam on his phone and winks his eyes at you.
좋아. 휴식 시간은 이 정도면 됐다.
Ah, it's already this late.
아직 시간이 조금 남았으니까 범죄 기록 받기 전에 나랑 어디 좀 같이 가줄래?
Sure, you lead the way. Gerard's house. Luke brings you to a somewhat abandoned residential area. The buildings are dilapidated. When looking at the windows from below a building, only one or two households are living in it.
이곳이 바로 우태양이 실종되기 전에 살던 곳이야. 정부에서 임시로 배정해준 거처라고 하는데 곧 철거할 예정이라 관리를 하고 있지 않다고 해.
So that's why nobody has done anything about the damaged blocks. You survey the surroundings. Despite being left unattended for only a year, everywhere is already covered in dust, where traces of life have been completely erased. What complicated medicine names? I heard Nurse Harper mention how Gerard's mother was admitted into the oncology ward, so this must be cancer-treating medications, right?
어디 보자.
Luke picks up one of the many boxes of medicine from the array displayed by the bedside table.
항암 치료와 관련된 약뿐 아니라 온갖 평범한 감기약, 위염약, 그리고 골다공증 약도 있고.
Whoa, how did you recognize them all?
희철이 형을 따라다니다 보면 알게 돼. 게다가 이것들은 처방약이 아니라 평범한 약국에서도 살 수 있는 것들이야.
Aaron?
내 동료야. 원래는 군의관이었는데 지금은 시립병원에서 일하고 있어.
I see. What's such a long rope doing here? And it's hanging right by the bed too? Looks like there's also a hook on the ceiling to mount it. Luke stops before a box and remains there for quite some time with a grim look on his face. What's wrong, Luke? Is there something of interest in the box?
상자에 우태양의 모친이 쓴 유서들이 있어.
You glance over. He wasn't talking about one or two. No, he meant the whole box. All of them? Strange, why didn't he take these suicide notes with him for remembrance? He hurt Nurse Harper because of his mother. I suppose his relationship with his mother must be exceedingly strong.
어쩌면 그럴 시간이 없었을지도 몰라. 중요한 정보가 있는지 없는지 모르겠지만 지금 바로 다 볼 순 없을 것 같으니 일단 챙기자.
Huh? Is this all trash that didn't manage to get thrown out in time?
고물을 모아서 돈으로 바꾸려고 한 것 같은데?
Luke points to the other items in the bags. There are many drink cans that had been deliberately crushed.
이렇게 하면 무게재기가 편하거든. 그냥 버리려고 했던 것들이라면 이렇게까지 하지는 않았을 거야.
Do you know how much this can be sold?
나도 안 팔아봐서 잘 모르겠네. 이 정도 양이라면 겨우 몇천 원 정도 아닐까?
I feel like Gerard doesn't have the patience to go around picking up trash based on his character. Maybe his mother collected this before she was admitted into the hospital.
잘 모르겠어. 조금 더 살펴보자.
Look here. You bent down to look through the scattered papers on the ground. They're all receipts from cells from the hospital. Gerard's mother seems to have undergone many medical examinations.
양으로 봐서는 단기간이 아니라 오랫동안 지속되어 온 것 같은데 구체적인 날짜가 적혀 있어?
There are, but these papers are all crumpled. It feels like they're about to crumble into dust, and I can't really make out the contents.
어쩔 수 없지. 창문이 제대로 안 닫혀 있어서 비를 맞았나 봐.
After doing a preliminary survey of the room, both your attentions fall on the suspicious room. Its length is just enough to hang down the bedside. There are visible marks of wear and tear if you look closely enough. Look, don't you find this room's location kind of odd?
침대맡에 놓인 약들을 봐서는 우태양의 모친이 잠을 자던 곳인 것 같아.
This room can't be here without reason. Could it be related to his mother? Hold on, could it be a tool that Gerard used when taking care of his mother? Look, these things were placed in reachable locations from the bed. I believe it was for his mother's convenience so that she could reach for them without getting out of bed. His mother was bedridden for a long period. It might be due to her weakness or her disability. Regardless, she would need Gerard to assist her in her daily activities. Perhaps this room provided her with similar support too.
보조적인 역할이라.
Luke contemplates your analysis as he lies down on the bed frame and raises his left arm to reach for the rope. The spot where the rope touches his palm happens to be the place with the most wear and tear. There.
힘을 주기 위한 건가?
Gain leverage. You take a glance at the rope in confusion as you pull Luke up from the bed.
방금의 추측이 맞다면 우태양의 모친은 몸이 허약하거나 하반신을 움직일 수 없었을 수도 있어. 그렇다면 평소에는 우태양의 도움이 있어야 몸을 일으킬 수 있었을 거야. 하지만 생각해봐. 우태양은 아직 어려서 성인 여성을 완전히 일으켜 세우려면 힘이 부족해. 그래서 이 밧줄이 쓰였겠지.
That's possible. Judging from the items placed around the bed at reachable locations, I believe she could still move her arms around freely. Despite you two having managed to form a reasonable explanation from the evidence, Luke doesn't seem at ease.
하지만 그러면 새로운 의문점이 생겨.
What problem? You follow Luke's line of sight to a corner piled up with trash.
만약 어머니가 오랫동안 움직이기 힘든 상태였다면 이 쓰레기들은 분명 돈으로 바꾸기 위해 우태양이 수집한 것들일 거야. 하지만 그렇다면 예전에 버린 일들과 모순된다고 생각하지 않아?
Is it? Collecting recyclables requires a lot of time and it's not very profitable either. Gerard once told to make a quick buck, so how would he be able to have the patience to collect all unless both situations happen at different times?
그렇다면 분명 정말 돈이 필요하게 된 이유가 있었을 거야. 그것 때문에 조금씩 생활비를 벌던 삶에서 일확천금을 위해 부적절한 행위를 하는 삶으로 바뀐 거지.
From the information we currently have, the most likely explanation would be treatment fees. Luke falls into deep thought, walks toward the pile of trash and starts digging into it. What are you searching for? Let me help you.
아니, 먼지가 너무 쌓여서 더러우니까 내가 할게.
Perhaps because he's trying to persuade you not to help him, he doesn't explain what he's looking for. As such, you quietly stand aside and watch him digging into the pile of cardboard. I guess if one's movements are cool enough, even digging into trash can look like it's actually part of an experiment. Just when you're lost in thought, Luke suddenly stands up and takes a few pieces of tattered cardboard in front of you. You subconsciously reach out your arms to take them. He seems taken aback as he hurriedly retrieves them before he laughs and joins.
준다고 그냥 받냐? 이건 쓰레기니까 만지지 마. 위에 적힌 날짜를 봐봐.
The dates. These boxes were used to contain cakes and food. The manufactured expiry dates are clearly printed on these boxes. Though the periods are different, they are all 2 or 3 months before Gerard's disappearance. Is this the estimated period for when Gerard collected the trash?
이런 유형의 음식들은 유통기한이 짧아서 며칠 안에 다 먹어야 돼. 그러니 시간상의 오차는 크지 않을 거야.
No doubt Luke's a professional detective. He's really observant. Nothing can escape his sights.
왜 날 그런 눈으로 보는 거야? 뭐 잘못해서 찔리는 거라도 있어?
No, of course not. I'm just impressed by you. Luke raises his brows and jokingly gives you a warning.
그래? 거짓말은 하지 않는 게 좋을 거야. 본론으로 돌아가자. 우태양은 모친이 병사하고 얼마 후에 실종됐어. 지금까지 파악한 정보에 따르면 우태양은 실종되기 2, 3개월 전까지 쓰레기들을 모으고 있었고 방금의 추측에 따르면 어머니의 치료비를 위해 절도를 시작했을 거야. 그렇다면 그때쯤 우태양의 모친은 암 판정을 받았고 얼마 지나지 않아 세상을 떠난 거지. 뭔가 일들이 너무 빨리 진행된 것 같지 않아?
Now that you mention it, yes. What's odd is that Gerard's mother had been visiting the hospital frequently for health checkups, so why wasn't she diagnosed earlier? Was it really because her illness was rare and difficult to be diagnosed?
그것에 대해서는 상세한 검진 기록을 봐야 알 수 있을 거야.
You're right. If we put that aside for now, it seems more logical for Gerard to lose his temper and hit Nurse Harper. After all, his mother was suddenly diagnosed with cancer. Under such tremendous stress, it's easy for one to lose temper. What do you think, Luke?
그건
Before Luke can reply to you, his phone rings, interrupting the conversation. He takes a glance at his phone and bites his lower lips with a complicated expression as if trouble is brewing. What is the matter?
경찰 측 우태양에 대한 범죄 기록이 나왔어. 절도와 사기 사건을 제외하고도 누군가의 의행을 위해 증언을 한 진술서도 있는데
Gerard isn't unkind by nature, so when you hear that he has done a good deed in the past, it isn't unexpected of him. It is only when Luke continues.
그 사건의 피해자가 바로 하은설, 하간호사야.
Various kinds of drugs, medicine that Gerard's mother took every day. There are many kinds of medicine: cold medicine, gastric medicine, calcium tablet for osteoporosis, and so on. These are all standard over-the-counter medications. A stack of suicide notes. A stack of suicide notes written by Gerard's mother. These were the subtle differences in handwriting. Each suicide note was written at a different time, but the contents are similar. Jerry, you must forget me completely after I'm gone. Jerry, you need to take care of yourself and lead a proper life alone. Don't miss me. Jerry, don't worry about me. I'll be fine in heaven and protect you forever. Medical invoice. Examination documents from Sally's Public Hospital. Gerard's mother examination documents at Sally's Public Hospital. They are all damp and stuck together because of the rain. The ink is smudged, making it difficult to read. Scrap collection. A large amount of junk that could be sold for money was found in Gerard's home. Excessive physical examination. Gerard's mother had multiple medical examinations in Sally's Public Hospital. Desperate for money. At first, Gerard sold junk to support his family, but soon he turned to crime. It was probably because he was desperate for money. Left undiagnosed for a long time. Although Gerard's mother had multiple medical examinations, she was never diagnosed with cancer until 3 months before she passed away. Outside Gerard's house. You are somewhat in a trance when you follow Luke out of the dilapidated apartment. It is only when you take a few deep breaths of fresh air that your mind feels refreshed again. Luke, can you send me a copy of Gerard's case file?
아, 그래. 기다려봐.
Before Luke can send it to you, his cell phone slips from his hand and drops onto the ground with a loud noise. While he is in a daze, you hastily crouch down to pick the cell phone up, briefly checking it to ensure it's fine. Yeah, thankfully it's still in one piece. Luke hesitates for a moment before he gives you an embarrassed smile and quickly takes back his phone.
아, 미안. 미끄러졌네. 기록 보내줄게. 확인해봐.
He then keeps his phone properly and quietly clears his throat.
방금 훑어봤는데 그 일도 미림시 시립병원에서 일어났다고 하네? 가해자는 환자의 가족이었는데 진료상의 문제로 하간호사와 마찰이 있었고 폭력까지 휘두르려고 했나봐.
Why does it sound like the incident we came across recently?
나도 아직도 생생하게 기억나. 점결과에 그렇게 연연하는 사람은 처음이야. 공교롭게도 우태양이 막아서는 바람에 일이 그렇게 커지지는 않았대.
In other words, Gerard helped Nurse Harper, am I right?
맞아. 그때 우태양의 어머니가 막 입원한 터라 자주 간호를 하러 갔었는데 마침 그런 일이 벌어진 모양이야.
And if this piece of information is placed together with the previous speculation, it seems like whoever fights monsters should see to it that in the process he does not become a monster. Gerard used to be the one who stopped violence, yet in the end he became the source of it. On the other hand, Nurse Harper was rescued by Gerard in the past. Due to that conflict, she decided to take revenge against Gerard. No matter how you look at it, it's too far-fetched to link all these facts together. Look, can we meet the perpetrator? He probably knows more detail about the incident.
그래. 범죄 기록 파일에 이름이 있으니까 내일 병원에 가서 알아보자. 일단 지금은
Luke takes a look at his motorbike, which he parked by the alley, and pauses slightly.
일단 널 집에 데려다 줄 사람을 구해야겠다.
Huh? What about you?
나는 좀 이따가 범죄 기록에 있는 나머지 절도 피해자들을 찾아가 보려고. 대부분 야시장의 노점상 주인들인데 요즘 분위기가 어수선하다고 해서 혼자 가려고.
Luke, can't you take me along?
진짜 안 돼. 미안.
You can see the determination in his voice. You are upset about it, but you can only agree to the arrangement. Alright. Thereafter, Luke calls a cab for you. The driver is a friendly and chatty middle-aged man who seems to know Luke well. Before leaving, Luke knocks on the cab window and asks the driver to take special care of you.
장씨 아저씨, 피곤할 테니까 가는 동안 말 걸지 말아주세요. 나중에 제가 식사 대접할게요.
With that, Luke waves goodbye to you.
돌아가서 잘 쉬어. 할 얘기 있으면 내일 하자.
Okay, be careful. You try your best to ignore the feeling of uneasiness within you and nod at him. After reaching home, you immediately take a warm shower. The hot steam dispels your physical weariness, but you are still mentally feeling tense. You are feeling somewhat on edge as you lie down on your couch, so you eventually take out the items brought back from Gerard's apartment. A whole stack of suicide notes. I should take this time to go through them again. Gerard's mother's handwriting is neat and clean, so it ain't too difficult to read it. There were no dates written on the notes, but from the minor changes in her handwriting, you can tell that each note was written at a different time. However, the contents are roughly the same. Jerry, you must forget me completely after I'm gone. Jerry, you need to take care of yourself and lead a proper life alone. Don't miss me. Jerry, don't worry about me. I'll be fine in heaven and protect you forever. These suicide notes are filled with the worries, love, and blessing of a mother to a son. Somehow you feel a sense of oppression rather than empathy when reading these notes. Why is that so? You decide to go over the suicide notes again. Suddenly, a horrible assumption appears in your mind which you find hard to ignore. To verify your assumption, you make a call. Vince translates.
여보세요? 목소리가 많이 피곤한 것 같은데 아직 바쁜가요?
Vin picks up the call and gladly taps his finger on the couch armrest.
저요? 저는 잘 지내죠. 요즘은 개인적인 일들을 처리하고 있어요. 문제가 생겼나 보네요. 무슨 일이죠?
He listens to the other party seriously and attentively, nodding his head from time to time. Just then, a strange noise from opposite the couch suddenly breaks the silence. Win glances at the person with some impatience and makes a warning gesture for silence.
대충 알겠네요. 하지만 제가 말하지 않아도 이미 마음속으로 답을 알고 있죠. 걱정 마. 날 잊어. 날 그리워하지 마. 그런 말을 하면서 유서는 그렇게 많이 남겼다니 그건 모순이에요. 이런 말 혹시 들어보셨나요? 어떤 사람에 대해 판단하려면 무슨 말을 했는지를 보지 말고 무엇을 했는지를 보라고요. 마치 양심에 찔려 눈에 띄지 않도록 연막탄을 설치해 놓은 것과 같다고 볼 수 있죠. 연막탄은 거짓말이 될 수도 있고 비밀이 될 수도 있어요. 거짓말로 진실을 가리고 비밀로 또 다른 비밀을 가려 진짜 의도를 숨기려는 목적인 거죠. 이제 그녀의 진짜 의도가 뭔지 알 것 같지 않나요? 고마워할 필요 없어요. 제가 딱히 도운 것도 없는걸요.
Thereafter, Vince simply exchanges a few words with you, and the second he hangs up the phone, the person opposite him makes
말하다 말고 혼자 있는 것처럼 전화를 받다니 정말 예의 없고 교양 없이구네.
친하지 않은 상대와 대화할 때는 자세를 낮추고 상대의 행동에 협조하는 게 교양 아닌가요?
돌려서 욕하지 말라고.
욕 듣는 게 좋아서 절 화나게 한 줄 알았는데요.
Vin folds his arm and comfortably leans back on his couch.
맞다. 유서. 지금 상황이면 슬슬 준비해 놔야 하는 거 아니에요?
After hanging up the call, you are certain of your assumption. Gerard's mother seemed to be a paranoid person who had the desire to control her son, thus she spent the effort writing numerous suicide notes, hoping that his son would always remember her. When you think about it, you suddenly recall what Julian had told you in the correctional facility. It is about the mysterious person who brought Gerard away before he was missing.
우태양이 다가가니까 그 사람이 친근하게 손을 잡아주는 게 보였어요. 전 어렸을 때부터 지금까지 엄마가 손을 잡아준 적도 없거든요. 그래서 나쁜 일은 없을 거라 생각했어요.
A gentle move, a mother. Gerard's mother has already passed away. There is absolutely no mistakes in this. As for other possibilities, no way I'm gonna believe in science. Noticing that your thoughts are wandering off, you begin to feel a chill in the air. To alleviate the uneasy feeling within you, you begin to swipe your phone aimlessly and inadvertently pause at the name Luke. I wonder if he's busy now. But since I discovered something new, I should share it with him too, right? And you immediately press the call button. Luke takes longer than usual to pick up the call this time. It is only when the line is about to cut off automatically that it finally goes through.
왜? 혹시 무슨 일 있어?
Luke's voice sounds a little hoarse and full of concern. It's nothing major. I just want to share with you my discovery after reading the suicide notes. Is it inconvenient for you to talk now? Are you still interviewing the victims?
괜찮아. 방금 다 끝났어.
After which, you tell Luke all the assumptions you have after reading the notes. This includes the unfounded and ridiculous idea you had that scared the crap out of yourself.
그러니까 우태양을 데려간 사람이 우태양의 어머니일 수도 있다는 거지?
Yeah, But before Gerard went missing, she had already passed away in the hospital, right? It should be impossible for someone who had passed away to reappear, am I right? Luke hesitates for a moment. You have no idea what he is thinking during that few seconds, but his answer is firm.
당연히 불가능하지. 이 세상에 귀신 같은 건 존재하지 않으니까. 정말 우태양의 모친이었다면 가능성은 오직 하나야. 애초에 사망한 게 아니었던 거지.
You have a point.
하지만 이상한 부분이 있는 건 확실해. 희철이 형한테 환자 기록부를 얻을 수 있는지 물어볼게. 자, 이상한 생각은 이제 그만하고 빨리 자. 내일 병원에도 가야 하잖아.
Okay, I know. You too. Hurry home once you're done with work. Perhaps he sensed the uneasiness in your voice. Luke hasn't put down the food.
좀 이따가 잠 안 오면 나한테 전화해. 알겠지?
Yeah, got it.
걱정 마. 무서울 것 없어.
Luke seems to be saying something after that. However, the line was cut off abruptly and you failed to listen to the second half of his sentence.
무서울 것 없어.
Before Luke exposes himself, he hurriedly hangs up the call to prevent himself from coughing into the food. Even after he joined NSB and participated in numerous risky tasks, he never revealed such a weak side of himself to other parties. But in face of the pain brought by his illness, he can't help but lower himself and dropped his knees in the puddle of mud on the ground. The bustling noise of footsteps and conversations of the passerby can be faintly heard from outside the alley. Luke claps his hand over his mouth, preventing his painful groan from attracting attention. He suddenly finds his own cautious actions almost amusing.
귀신이 뭐가 무섭다고. 만약 정말 그런 게 존재한다면 지금 같은 일은 벌어지지 않았겠지. 차라리 진짜 존재했으면 좋겠네.
But there's a principle behind every technology, and there's no room for unexpected miracles to happen. The moment one chooses to give up, everything will end. Luke is sharp enough to capture the approaching footsteps. He clenches his teeth and pushes himself up. Quickly, he hides in a corner. The moment the approaching person appears, he grabs and locks the person's throat with his elbow joint.
잠깐만, 나야, 나라고.
형이 여긴 어쩐 일이에요?
뭐라는 거야? 네가 먼저 전화했잖아. 나 말고 누구 또 올 사람 있어?
Luke leans his body against the wall and breathes out loud. Breathe out a long sigh.
착각인가? 아까부터 나를 보고 있는 시선이 느껴지는 것 같아요.
이런 곳에는 남을 훔쳐보는 걸 좋아하는 변태들이 넘쳐나니까. 별일 없어서 다행이네.
별일 있어요. 방금 공격할 때 쓴 손은 오른손이 아니에요. 이유는 모르겠지만 이번에 병이 도지고 얼마 전부터 오른손의 감각이 사라졌어요.
The smile on Aaron Yushmer's face disappears instantly. He frowns.
설마 악화된 건가? 자세히 검사하러 가자.
지금은 말고요. 특효약 같은 거 없어요? 아직 처리해야 할 일이 남아있거든요.
The thought of going to the hospital tomorrow reminds him of Tyson Turner, who is now an inarticulate man paralyzed in bed. Can he still be considered a living man in his pathetic state? Gerard Boone's case file, Gerard's prior criminal record. Based on the case file, Gerard had many records of theft and fraud as he was a minor. The police could only warn him and ask his guardian to educate him. The file also contained an inquiry record which proved that Gerard was accidentally injured in a conflict between Nurse Harper and a patient's family member, Macho King. He was trying to protect the nurse. During this incident, Gerard didn't fight back or overreact. Sally's Public Hospital. You receive a text message from Luke in the morning saying that he's busy at the moment and will meet up with you later. To save time, you decide to head for the Sally's Public Hospital first. According to Gerard's case file, the name of the perpetrator is Macho King. This is such a unique and unforgettable name. Nurse Harper has been taking care of Gerard's mother in the oncology department. Since the perpetrator named Macho King is the patient's family member, then his conflict with Nurse Harper was likely to occur on the oncology department. You have narrowed the search scope, but that incident happened a year ago. The chance of finding the perpetrator is small. Maybe I should try asking around. Perhaps it is due to the name of the perpetrator. You managed to locate Macho King's ward after asking a few people.
아, 그 주씨 말하는 거죠? 505호에 있어요.
The middle-aged woman pauses and looks at you again.
아가씨, 같이 가는 사람 없어요? 주씨가 성격이 좀 세서 말도 험하게 하거든요. 혼자 갈 거면 조심하는 게 좋을 거예요.
Don't worry, madam. I am very good at arguing. Seeing that you're full of confidence, the woman shakes her head and says nothing. But when you meet the infamous Mr. Macho King, you realize that you should have heeded the woman's advice.
왜 노크질이야? 아내가 쉬고 응?
It's you?
또 너냐?
The moment the ward door is opened, a familiar man walks out from the ward. Like an overused story plot in typical idol dramas, you didn't expect your ill-fated relationship with Mr. Macho King to last until now.
좋아, 아예 찾아왔다 이거지? 전 보던 그날 우리 얘기가 아직 안 끝난 것 같은데?
He closes the door slightly and looks around.
그놈도 같이 온 거야? 이번엔 혼쭐을 내줘야지.
It's just me, and I'm not here to quarrel with you today. Now that I think about it, our meeting isn't a coincidence. After all, resorting to violence after emotions get the best of him fits his personality. To avoid agitating Macho King again, you try to keep calm and patient so that your emotions will not affected by his. Mr. King, is it convenient for me to ask you a few questions? It's about an incident that happened a year ago when you had a conflict with a nurse.
아니, 그냥 방금 일에 대해 옳고 그름만 따지라고. 왜 1년이나 지난 옛날 일을 꺼내는 건데?
That's not what I meant. I'm just...
아니긴 뭐가 아니야? 계속 쓸데없는 소리하면 가만 안 둔다.
Macho raises his fist in front of you. You subconsciously dodge and retreat, accidentally knocking into another person behind you. You hear a low snort coming from the back. I'm sorry. Are you alright? You and Macho are taken aback when you two see the face of the person behind you.
괜찮아요. 조금 아프긴 하네요.
Why are you...
그런데 견우 씨가 여긴 왜 오셨죠?
여긴 복도예요. 주정남 씨 목소리가 너무 커서 정씨 아주머니가 걱정된다고 살펴보라고 하셨어요.
Macho helplessly clicks his tongue.
무슨 일 있는 줄 알았네. 그럼 이제부터 입 닫을게요.
This is odd. Why is the fearless Mr. King so obedient? Is it because of him? You carefully size Jerome up. He seems to be a mystery himself. It's like the last time when you saw him on the Pluto. He appeared and suddenly and disappeared quietly.
너무 오래 자리를 비워서 아내가 날 기다리고 있겠네. 그럼 얘기들 나눠요.
After Macho retreats back to the ward, only you and Jerome are left staring at each other in the corridor. Your alertness is at its peak when suddenly a small figure dashes out from the ward the moment Macho pulls open the ward door.
견우 아저씨, 머리 따주세요.
내가 뭐라고 했어? 도움받고 싶으면 오빠라고 부르랬잖아.
쉿, 아빠가 병실에 있어요. 아무한테는 오빠라고 부르지 말라고 했단 말이에요. 아빠가 들으면 분명 화를 내실 거예요.
Huh? Is she Macho's daughter? Jerome smiles and crouches down, gently helping the girl to tie her hair into 2 long pleats.
어머니는 요즘 괜찮으시니?
네, 잘 지내요. 새로운 치료를 시작했어요. 견우 아저씨 말처럼 그 오빠한테 도와달라고 했더니 치료비가 생겼어요. 보험 판매하면 돈을 잘 벌 수 있나 봐요. 그럼 저도 나중에 커서 보험 판매할래요.
그건 나중에 다시 고민해 보도록 하자. 보험 판매가 그냥 부업일 수도 있잖니? 그래, 일단 돌아가렴. 아직 이분이랑 할 얘기가 남았거든.
After coaxing the girl back to the ward, Jerome looks at you again. His gaze is approachable and warm, but it makes you feel anxious. Right, Mr. Adams, where did you go after we met that day on the Pluto?
사람들이랑 함께 요트를 타고 대피했어요. 당신은요?
That incident on the Pluto ended on a dramatic note, but you're not sure if he witnessed the scene. You suppose it is best you keep mum about it now. After all, you were not the only one who was involved, and the identities of Antwerp's members are somewhat sensitive. Same as you.
그런가요? 그날 변호사님하고 윤 선생님이 보이지 않아서 걱정했거든요. 이제야 좀 안심이 되네요.
Haha, there was more than one escape yacht on that day. I'm glad that everyone's safe. Why do I feel that the more I say, the worse things get? Oh yes, I have something to attend to later. I guess I'll leave.
1년 전에 있었던 그 일에 대해 알고 싶은 거라면 제게 물어봐도 좋아요.
Jerome smiled. He offers to disclose the information before you can even question him.
제가 소속된 금난계곡 연구센터에서 난치병 환자들에게 도움을 주기 위한 펀드를 운영한 적이 있어요. 제가 담당이라 가끔씩 병원에 와서 자원봉사를 하는데 그 일이 일어난 날에 마침 병원에 있었거든요.
Research Center? Mr. Adams, are you a researcher?
네, 그런 셈이죠.
There's no need for you to verify his word. You find his credibility on that matter to be rather high. From the various situations just now, you can tell that he shares a fairly close relationship with the patients. Moreover, even if the adults were just pretending, the kid was genuinely friendly with him. It wasn't something a kid could act out. Mr. Adams, could you tell me what exactly happened on that day?
알려드릴 수는 있지만 제가 보기엔 평범한 싸움이었어요. 딱히 특별한 구석은 없었죠.
일은 하긴 하는 거야? 아내가 아프다잖아. 안 보여?
선생님, 바늘을 뺄 때 통증이 있는 건 어쩔 수 없으니 조금 참아주세요.
그건 믿으란 거냐고! 그러고 보니 다른 간호사들이 그러는데 당신은 이쪽 병실 사람이 아니라며? 소아과 가서 애들이나 달래지 왜 여기 와서 참견질이야?
선생님, 무례한 말은 삼가주시죠.
참나, 자기가 일 처리를 제대로 못해놓고 나한테 말 똑바로 하라 하네. 아주 그냥...
Macho King was foaming and was about to hit Nurse Harper when Gerard dashed out from the crowd of onlookers and pushed Mark Cho.
멧돼지! 그만 좀 하시지!
그렇게 우태양은 주정남에게 한 대 맞았고 사람들이 말린 덕에 두 사람에게 더 이상 심각한 일이 벌어지지는 않았어요.
You nod thoughtfully. You say nothing and Jerome does not prompt you. When you look up, you notice that his eyes are still as warm as before, as if there is no change in emotions. Mr. Adams, is Nurse Harper previously from the Department of Pediatrics?
맞아요. 그런데 자주 여기저기에서 도움을 요청한다고 하더군요. 하지만 이후로 수간호사가 다시 갈등이 생기는 걸 막기 위해 이곳에 다시는 못 오게 했다고 들었어요.
Stop asking her to come, really. You can't help but sink deep into thought. After a while, you realize Jerome is observing you with great interest. Noticing your gaze at him, he takes the opportunity to question you.
맞다. 그런데 이것들이 왜 알고 싶으신 건가요?
Well, just as you're hesitating whether to say the truth, a familiar figure suddenly appears between the two of you, giving you a scare.
당신이 상관할 일이 아닐 텐데요.
이분도 친구인가요?
Luke gives Jerome a cool stare without speaking to him or giving you a chance to reply to him as he pulls you away. Jerome doesn't seem surprised by his action. Instead, he remains rooted to the ground and waves his hand to say goodbye. After that, Luke pulls you into an empty consultation room. It is a tiny and dimly lit room. You can vividly hear his breathing. He appears to be in a rush. His disorderly breath and a damp hair on his sweaty forehead seems to suggest it. Luke, are you okay? Why did you rush over?
그걸 질문이라고 하는 거야?
Luke points at your cell phone in the pocket. You remove your phone from your pocket, looking confused, but when you see several missed calls displayed on your phone screen, you abashedly look away from him. Oh, sorry, I must have missed your calls when inquiring about Nurse Harper.
됐어. 나도 네 좋은 일을 망쳤으니 교환한 셈 치자.
Great plan. Oh, speaking of which, I did find out something.
그래? 어디 한번 들어볼까?
Luke pulls a nearby chair and sits down with an odd expression as if you're interrogated by him. You go ahead and describe to him what you found out, including Jerome Adams' identity. His expression seems better after hearing your words, revealing a hint of embarrassment.
아까 그 녀석이 플루토호에서 만났던 이상한 사람이라고?
Not exactly. Oh, no wonder you sounded weird just now. Did you misunderstand something?
아니거든. 이 얘긴 그만하자. 마침 나도 새로 발견한 정보들이 있거든.
He pulls out a photocopied document from his pocket and hands it to you.
희철이 형한테 부탁해서 받은 환자 기록이야. 여기에 적혀 있는 대로라면 우태양의 모친은 비정기적으로 많은 검사를 했어. 하지만 심각한 문제는 발견하지 못했지. 집에서 휴식만 취하면 나을 수 있는 병인데도 혹시 몰라 항상 병원에 며칠씩 입원했다고 하더라고.
That sounds like she was a highly health conscious person.
근데 이상한 건 사망 3개월 전 입원 치료를 받다가 갑자기 간암 말기 통보를 받은 거야.
A sudden diagnosis. Why does it sound like Tyson Turner's case? At the thought of this, an assumption appears in your mind that suddenly sends a chill down your spine. Tyson was diagnosed with acute stomach cancer after being poisoned by anthrax, and no one knew who was the perpetrator behind it. Could it be that Gerard's mother's illness was suspicious, and that's why the big data lab places this case as the top priority? If this is the case, look, don't you find Nurse Harper suspicious?
나도 같은 생각이야. 분명 거짓말을 했으니까. 그렇지? 아직은 이 문제에 대해 설명할 수 없을 것 같은데 조금 더 생각해 볼까? 아직은 이 문제에 대해 아직은 이 문제에 대해 아직은 이 문 아직은 이 문제
Nurse Harper said that the reason why Gerard lashed out at her was because she wasn't taking enough care of his mother. But in actuality, Nurse Harper was never assigned to the oncology department after the machoking incident. So there was no way she could have gotten into contact with Gerard's mother.
그리고 정말로 돌발 상황이 있었다고 해도 앞뒤가 맞지 않아. 하간호사는 우태양의 도움을 받았기 때문에 그녀의 입장에서 우태양은 고마운 존재였을 거야. 그렇다면 우태양의 모친을 간호할 때도 분명 최선을 다했을 거고. 우태양이 불의를 못 참는 성격이긴 하지만 하간호사가 선을 넘지 않았다면 몸싸움까진 벌이지 않았을 거야.
In that case, there must be a cause for conflict, but it falls on neither her nor Gerard's mother. So why did Nurse Harper lie?
처음부터 잘못 알고 있던 게 아닌가 싶어.
The dimly lit room seems to be enveloped by a mysterious mist, casting a dark shadow on Luke's face.
진짜 보복을 한 건 하간호사가 아니라 우태양이었을 가능성이 커. 도대체 무슨 짓을 한 건지는
Before Luke can finish his sentence, a ruckus can be heard from downstairs. Following this, you can vaguely hear some excited cheers coming from the corridor. What's with the sudden commotion? You rush to the window, open the curtains, and look down to see what's happening. Many people are crowding around the main entrance of the hospital with large cameras in their hands. It seems like they are here to carry out interviews. Just then, Luke's cell phone rings.
여보세요? 무슨 일이죠?
You're not sure what the other party on the line says to Luke, but his face gradually darkens.
뭐라고요? 장태산이 죽었다고요? 사람을 조사해야 하는 건가요?
Gerard's mother medical record. Gerard's mother had multiple medical examination in Sal's public hospital, but she was never diagnosed with any severe illness which could endanger her life. Yet 3 months before her death, she was suddenly diagnosed with advanced liver cancer. Harper is a nurse from the Department of Pediatrics. Harper hiding the truth. Harper faked the truth to hide the real reason why she and Gerard came into conflict. President's office.
작은 도련님, 괜찮으십니까?
별일 있겠어요?
Marius carelessly tidies his overly complex outfit, half leaning in front of his work desk. From time to time, he glances at Vincent, who looks concerned and upset. Marius immediately warns him with a stern attitude.
계속 그런 표정 지으면 월급 깎는 건 노동법 위반이니 연말 보너스 깎을 거예요?
그럼 작은 도련님, 그 사람은 어떻게 처리하실 생각이십니까?
처리할 수 있는 대로 처리해야죠. 내가 깡패도 아니고 팔다리라도 부러뜨리겠어요?
Marius smoothed his hair and sighed wearily.
일단 그거 말고 국정원 쪽은 뭐라고 하던가요?
도련님이 오셔서 조사에 협조해 주시기를 희망한답니다.
왜죠?
장태산이 오늘 미림시 시립병원에서 갑자기 사망했는데 현재까지의 조사 결과에 따르면 작은 도련님이 최근 유일하게 그 병실을 방문한 관계자 외 인원이라고 합니다.
장태산의 죽음이 저들한테 있어서는 상당히 큰 손실인가 보네요. 그런데 이런 상황 예전에도 있었던 것 같은데.
Marius smiles as he straightened himself up. Though his movement is slow, his posture is perfect. He looks out from the floor-to-ceiling windows. The tiny black dots gather at the bottom of the building resemble an army of ants, eagerly carrying their food into their...
국정원에선 도련님께서 이번 일과 연루되어 있다는 증거를 확보하지 못했기 때문에 협조를 거절하셔도 됩니다. 저번에...
협조할게요. 어차피 같은 편인데 자존심은 챙겨줘야죠.
Outside Tyson's ward. Tyson Turner's ward is located on the top floor of the inpatient unit. Patients who stay there are usually important people who need to be kept under observation, and only medical personnel are authorized to enter with their staff cards.
잠시 들어가서 볼게요.
The two guards standing outside the ward look at Luke and nod their head indifferently. Just as you are about to follow him in, an arm appears and blocks the entrance, preventing you from proceeding. Luke quickly jerks around. His face instantly darkens.
손 치우시죠. 말하는 법 몰라요?
상부 명령에 따라 이곳은 관계자 외 인원은 출입할 수 없습니다.
내가 관계자예요. 내 쪽 사람이니까 문제가 생기면 내가 책임지죠. 그리고 처음으로 관계자 외 인원을 들이는 것도 아니잖아요. 지금 와서 따질 필요 있어요?
Tyson Turner's ward is left untouched. The bedding is spread out messily, and the medical equipment around the bed remains in its place as if Tyson Turner is coming back again. Is Tyson Turner seriously dead?
현장 보존을 위해 아무도 손 못 대게 해놓은 거야. 근데 인원이 너무 많이 동원된 것 같아. 언제 죽어도 이상하지 않을 만큼 안 좋은 상태였잖아. 어쨌든 후속 조사에 차질이 생기는 건 확실해.
As you speak with Luke, endless news notifications are popping up from your phone about Turner's death. Perhaps Turner deserves to be dead. Apart from some unfounded speculative conspiracy theories behind his death, most netizens seem to be cheering and celebrating it. but the truth shouldn't be influenced or covered by any other factors. Luke, you mentioned that they let other unrelated persons into the ward. Who was it? Would that person be related to this case?
좋은 질문이야.
Luke smiles, seemingly anticipating your reaction.
너도 아마 알고 있는 사람일 거야. 아니, 아마가 아니라 잘 아는 사이지.
Are you serious?
그럴 리가라니. 아마 곧 알게 될걸?
Just then, the latest hot search notification pops up on your phone screen. Hanson Health Products drug issue has triggered a new round of confidence crisis in pharmaceutical companies. Being a prime suspect linked to Tyson Turner's death, the president of Pax Pharmaceutical, Maurice von Hagen, was attacked by unidentified persons in a banquet. It is reported that the perpetrator is suspected to be the victim of the Hanson incident, who is initially diagnosed with mental disorder and has been captured by the police. Marius? After that, Luke leads you to an ordinary but somewhat cluttered downtown. Your destination is the basement of a small commodity market, which requires you to take a special elevator to enter. You see a store selling salt-packed chicken feet around the corner on the ground floor, yet less than 20 meters away from the store, there's a secret space hidden from prying eyes. The abrupt change in the environment reminds you of the different production sets one sees in the firm's studios. Luke simply described the location of this hideout as a well-hidden place in city, great for filling one's stomach as getting food delivered is not safe right now. NSB Special Team.
내 시간이 얼마나 소중한데 결정적인 증거도 없으면서 갑자기 왜 불러낸 거예요? 정말 화인을 물러보는 거예요?
The moment you step into the office with Luke, you hear a familiar voice. However, his tone is arrogant, overbearing, and taunting. It seems foreign to you.
겁주지 말아요. 원에서 온 거잖아요. 결정적인 증거가 있는지 없는지는 더 잘 알 텐데요.
Luke speaks as he pats the back of the young man who is carrying out the interrogation.
나가봐요. 아마 감당하기 힘들걸요? 그냥 감시 카메라 너머로 지켜보는 편이 좋을 거예요.
왜요? 조수를 바꿨어요?
Marius changes his posture, half sitting on the desk as he looks at the both of you cheekily.
누나, 봐요. 돌아가면서 날 괴롭히고 있어요.
괴롭히다뇨.
Boy, who is the real bully here? Marius?
왜요?
He seems to know that he's on the losing end, yet he's still keeping his hopes up. Such as hoping your conversation with him will continue according to his expectations. To the extent that when your reply is out of his expectation, he is taken by surprise and freezes for several seconds. Were you hurt?
네?
I saw the news that you were being attacked. What happened then? Were you hurt?
아, 별일 없었어요.
You notice Mary's eyes starts to drift, unlike his usual confident look. Seeing your face of disbelief, he reveals a helpless smile and folds up his sleeve obediently.
그렇게 심한 건 아닌데.
This is... The moment he reveals his wrist, you can see several striking red scars on his fair skin. The scars appear to be left behind by someone who has grabbed and pulled his wrist tightly. Do they hurt?
그땐 조금 아팠어요. 피부가 약간 민감해서 흉터가 쉽게 남는 편이에요. 사실 이건 이틀 전에 있었던 일 때문에 생긴 거예요. 그리고 셔츠 위로 잡힌 거라 지금은 아프지도 않아요.
Really? You suspiciously pull his sleeve higher and gingerly touch the red scars. Maris is extraordinarily cooperative with your movements, and his breathing becomes more rapid.
누나, 여기 보는 사람도 많은데.
I'm sorry, I just feel that. Look, come over and look at this.
강혁 씨는 왜 불러요?
At that moment, Mary's arm is like a fish on the chopping board, while you and Luke carrying out a close observation of it. Don't you find these scars familiar?
그런 것 같아. 하가노사의 팔에도 비슷한 흉터가 있었는데 이것보다는 색깔이 짙었어.
That's because her uniform is short-sleeved. It would be more severe since the perpetrator directly scratched her arm.
그런가? 해볼까?
Seeing that Luke is about to test the theory, Maris immediately pulls back his arm and pulls down his sleeve.
그만하죠.
Anyway, Maris, since you said that these scars have been there for 1 or 2 days, then I doubt they were caused by today's attack. How did you get those scars? Luke jumps into the conversation before Maris can answer.
장태산이 남긴 거죠? 저번에 병실에 왔을 때 생긴 거 맞죠? 그리고 그게 오늘 이곳에 불려온 이유고요.
네, 맞아요.
Maris withdraws a smile on his face and looks at Luke calmly.
하지만 그건 아무것도 증명할 수 없죠. 내가 병실에서 나올 때 강혁 씨도 거기 있었잖아요. 그때 난 빈손이었고 장태산도 살아있었어요. 아무리 생각해도 장태산의 죽음은 나와 전혀 관계가 없는데요.
Luke neither agrees nor rebukes him. As for you, you rationally and emotionally feel that this matter has nothing to do with Marius. But if that's the case, there must be other reasons behind these scars. Say, do you think Tyson Turner was the one who left those red marks on Nurse Harper's arm? If my assumption is right, there were 2 similar marks, and the first one was probably left behind when she was struggling. The second one was probably a signal for help or a message left behind intentionally. After listening to your interpretation, Luke thinks for a few seconds before looking at the location of the surveillance camera.
경찰에 연락해서 그 며칠간 하은설의 행적을 조사해봐야겠다. 그리고 장태산의 병실도 다시 한번 자세히 조사해봐야겠어. 제일 중요한 건 당장 장태산 손톱 밑에 남겨진 피부 각질을 검사해서 하은설한테서 나온 게 맞는지 확인하는 거야.
작은 도련님, 그분들이 도련님을 귀찮게 만든 건 아닌가요?
그건 내가 귀찮은 상황에 처하고 싶냐에 따라 달렸죠.
Maris puts his hand inside his pocket and found his previously lost button. He fiddles with it thoughtfully. Vincent is shocked to see what Maris is doing from the rear view mirror.
저번에 병원에서 떨어진 단추 아닙니까? 어째서 지금...
장태산의 죽음이 정말 나와 관련이 있다면 이 단추는 날 감옥으로 몰아넣는데 중요한 역할을 했을 거예요. 하지만 이제는 괜찮아요. 단추를 주운 착한 사람이 물건을 주인에게 돌려주었으니까.
어찌되었든 여기에 오시지 말았어야 했습니다. 너무 위험했어요.
선택의 여지가 없었어요.
Maris reveals a dark and unreadable expression. The button slips from his hand and rolls to the bottom of the car seat. He instinctively wants to bend down and pick it up, but the pain in his body pulls him back.
정말 아프네. 등에 분명 멍들었겠어.
병원으로 모시겠습니다.
네. 미림시 시립병원만 아니면 돼요.
Mary straightened his body and deliberately propped his head up, trying his best not to let his back touch the seat.
촉이 좋긴 하네. 이번에 오지 않았으면 분명 숨기진 못했을 거예요. 맞다, 시온 씨. 저번에 조사해달라고 했던 것 잊지 않았죠?
걱정하지 마세요. 현재 조사 중입니다. 유원희 회장님께도 보고 드릴까요?
아버지요? 일단은 그럴 필요 없어요.
Seamless scratches. There is a scratch on Mary's arms, similar to the one on Harper's. It might be a mark left by Tyson when he was asking for help. Bar. Under the moonlight, the bar exudes a cozy warmth that seems to defy the slumbering city. Despite the late hour, its walls are filled with life, echoing with laughter and conversation. With deafening music blasting in the background, a furrow forms on Artem's brow as he quickly makes his way across the dance floor.
어머, 미남 오빠. 이런 차림으로 클럽에 왔네. 나랑 같이 놀래?
손대지 마세요.
Artem glares at the woman. He pulls back the hand on his thigh and her face instantly darkens. Upon finding his target's booth, he instantly removes his jacket, which now reeks of various perfume smells, and discards it aside.
테킬라 선라이즈. 논 알코올로 주세요.
After placing his order, Artem looks at the middle-aged man who is cowering in fear. He is wearing an wool and discarded school uniform, looking more out of place in the bar than him.
왜 이런 곳에서 만나자고 한 거죠?
저도 이곳에 오기 싫었어요.
He trembles in fear and takes a sip of his coke that has already gone flat, leaning closer to Artem.
사람이 많아서 이곳에 있으면 좀 더 안전한 느낌이에요. 음료가 비싸서 그렇지.
계산은 제가 하겠습니다. 하지만 사람이 많은 거랑 무슨 상관이죠?
백 변호사님, 저주를 믿으시나요?
Perhaps the background music is too loud. Artem suddenly feels the pulse in his temple. His question is nonsensical. For Artem, it was no less than the question that the interns in the law firm has been asking lately. Do you believe in light?
믿든 안 믿든 오늘 할 얘기와 관련 없지 않습니까?
있죠, 당연히. 백 변호사님, 일단 헤이슨의 책임을 묻는 건 잠시 뒤로 두고 먼저 고소하고 싶은 사람이 있어요.
계속 말씀하세요.
The man passes his phone to Artem with his trembling hands. The picture on the phone shows a store decorated with props such as compasses and a container of nuts. The owner of the store is a woman of unique temperament and seems to be doing fortune-telling.
이 여자예요. 정말 보기만 해도 음산하죠? 제 아들 점을 봐줬는데 얼마 뒤 아들이 세상을 떠났어요. 그 뒤로부터 매일 악몽을 꿔요. 어젯밤엔 침대 머리맡에 뭔가가 서 있는 꿈을... 더 이상 말하기 싫네요.
솔직하게 말씀드리겠습니다. 아드님의 사망은 헤이슨과 관련이 있습니다. 그래서 절 찾으신 거 아닌가요?
아니요. 백 변호사님, 저희 가족뿐만이 아닙니다. 들은 건데 이 여자한테 점을 보고 부적을 받은 사람들은 모두 죽거나 다쳤다고 하더군요. 이게 저주가 아니면 뭡니까? 제가 물증도 가지고 있습니다. 바로 이거죠.
He takes out a crumpled talisman from his pocket and stuffs it into Artem's hand.
그래서 백 변호사님, 법으로 이 일을 해결할 수 있는 건가요?
Sally City Police Department. It's 2 days after the NSP special team interrogated Miss Marius. This time, you and Luke receive a notification to meet Harper at the police station. This doesn't only mean that NSP has granted you two permission, but it also means that the police have obtained the key evidence against Harper.
하 간호사님, 증거가 확실하니 더 이상 거짓말을 하지 않으셔도 됩니다.
Luke places the series of corporate information he obtained from the police before Harper. It includes the test report of the DNA found in Turner's nail debris, as well as the surveillance record in the hospital on that day. As shown from the evidence, Tyson Turner died of an unnatural death. If not for Harper's intervention, he could have lived on for a while longer.
경찰이 링거병 하부에서 작은 바늘 구멍을 발견했어요. 그리고 당신의 지문도 검출되었죠. 흔적을 많이 남겼던데 우발적으로 그런 건가요? 아니면 장태산의 죽음이 이렇게 많은 관심을 받을 거라고 예상하지 못한 건가요?
둘 다예요. 그리고 한 가지 이유가 더 있죠.
Harper calmly looks at Luke. There is no sign of fear or anxiousness in her despite being exposed.
장태산의 죽음은 모두가 바라는 것이에요. 죽어도 마땅한 사람이죠.
So, Nurse Harper, are you also a victim of Hansen Health products? To your surprise, she shakes her head.
장태산이 저지른 사건들은 신문에서 보고 알았어요. 하지만 그건 도화선이었을 뿐. 그 전부터 전 그가 살아서는 안 된다고 생각했어요.
왜 그렇게 생각했죠?
두 분은 계급이 존재한다고 생각하는지 모르겠네요. 고귀한 자와 천한 자를 나누는 계급 말이에요. 의료진의 각도로 봤을 때 저는 존재하면 안 된다고 생각하거든요. 하지만 장태산은 그런 평등함을 대놓고 파괴하는 존재였죠. 극악무도한 사람. 의식이 있을 때부터 사람들을 해치고 의식을 잃은 후에도 그런 짓을 멈추지 않는 자. 그런 사람은 죽어도 마땅하지 않나요?
I don't get it. Hansen Health products have stopped all their production lines. Tyson Turner couldn't harm anyone.
당신들 눈에는 헤이스만 보이는 건가요?
Harper's sudden emotional outburst instantly wipes off her previous composure. She glares at Luke, eyes full of disbelief and indignation. It is like she's treating Luke as another enemy similar to Tyson Turner.
당신도 그 사람들과 한패죠. 모든 의료 자원을 장태산에게 집중시키라고 명령해서 원래 치료받았어야 할 환자들이 기회를 놓쳤어요. 장태산을 구하려고 도대체 얼마나 많은 무고한 생명을 희생시킬 생각이었던 거죠?
장태산이 죽으면 앞으로 더 많은 사람들이 희생될 거예요.
그래서 사람 목숨의 가치를 그렇게 비교할 수 있는 건가요?
저희의 임무는 최대한 많은 사람들의 생명과 안전을 보장하기 위해 최선을 다하는 것이에요.
Luke gives her a firm response. However, from your distance, you can hear him gasping, seemingly trying to suppress the emotions in him. You stretch out and tug his shirt, hoping to divert his attention for a moment. Even if Harper has confessed, there's no evidence suggesting that she was involved in Gerard's disappearance, but at least you can find out his whereabouts. Nurse Harper, from what we know, Gerard's mother was suddenly diagnosed with cancer, which is similar to Tyson Turner's diagnosis. Since you have been lying to us previously when we asked you, is it reasonable for us to suspect that you're related to her death?
네, 제가 그랬어요.
But why? She was bedridden for a long period. She couldn't cause harm to anyone like Tyson Turner.
남을 해친다는 기준이 대체 뭐죠? 한 사람을 해치는 것도 해당되는 건가요? 살인만 사람을 해치는 건가요? 아들을 곁에 두기 위해 수년간 거동이 불편한 척한 것도 남을 해쳤다고 할 수 있나요?
Does it? For a moment, you have no idea how you should define it. So, Gerard's mother hadn't been ill before being diagnosed with cancer.
네. 근데 항상 본인이 아프기를 바랐어요. 게다가 무분별하게 약을 먹어대서 건강한 몸이었어도 문제가 생겼을 거예요.
Now, many of the contradictory leads you obtained previously are finally become clear. Why Gerard's mother was hostile to Gerard's nurse husband. The wide variety of drugs she had, the frequent yet pointless health checkups, and the large stacks of oppressive suicide notes. As well as Nurse Harper's eyes, which was blinded by injury, but the victim doesn't feel the least bit sorry about it.
제 눈을 보고 있나요? 전 눈 한쪽을 잃었지만 그 사람은 목숨을 잃었죠. 그래서 괜찮아요.
여긴 경찰서예요. 발언에 주의해주세요.
Scary. Luke slams his hand on the table, making a loud bang. After which he stares at Harper, leaning his body slightly forward. There is an oppressive feeling in his
어머니의 복수를 위해 우태양이 당신의 눈을 멀게 한 걸 보니 분명 당신이 한 일에 대해 알고 있었겠네요. 그럼 우태양은 왜 당신의 범행을 밝히지 않은 거죠? 우태양을 협박했나요?
우태양의 실종은
거기까지. 이렇게 사적으로 제 의뢰인과 따로 접촉하면 유도 신문 혐의가 적용됩니다.
What? You freeze in place when you see the figure walking through the door.
걱정하지 마. 내가 있잖아.
Luke smiles and walks in front of you, blocking your view, yet at the same time taking a better look at Artem.
유도신문? 너무 말이 거창한 거 아니에요? 여기 증거물을 모두 모아놓았으니 확인해보세요.
제게도 증거물이 하나 있어요. 하은설 씨가 우태양의 실종과 전혀 관련이 없다는 증거요.
Sally City Police Department. Humans are multifaceted beings. All the kindness and friendliness are relative to the situation. Once there's a shift in one's position, everything changes as well. When in the face of Artem, who is looking at you imposingly, you stammer and not sure what to say. Why did Mr. Wynn become Nurse Harper's attorney?
아무 사건이나 다 받는 줄은 몰랐네요. 그나저나 무슨 증거를 가지고 있다는 거죠?
그 전에 제가 먼저 물어보겠습니다. 우태양의 실종이 왜 제 의뢰인과 연관되어 있다고 생각하시죠? 우태양이 협박을 받아서 범행을 고발하지 않았다고 생각하는 것도 모두 극히 주관적인 추측이지 않습니까?
Under Artem's signal, Harper intentionally avoids your eyes and quietly sits on the chair in the corner. But you know you mustn't remain quiet. You dig your nails into your palm and take a deep breath, gathering up the courage to face that pair of cold and indifferent eyes. Let's say that Nurse Harper did not threaten Gerard. And since Gerard did not expose her, it shows that their relationship probably wasn't as bad as we thought. Coincidentally, the person who last contacted Gerard was someone who would gently hold his hand like someone who was on good terms with Gerard. As such, isn't it reasonable for us to suspect Nurse Harper? Atom chuckles after hearing your words. You witnessed that expression many times in the past. It isn't a friendly laugh, it is confident, even aggressive. At this moment, Atom says nothing, but you know that you've likely fallen into his trap.
그 점에 대해서는 제가 감시 카메라 녹화본을 가지고 있습니다. 우태양이 실종된 당일 밤, 제 의뢰인의 알리바이를 증명할 수 있는 영상이죠.
Atom takes out his tablet and places it on the table. According to the video shown on the night of Gerard's disappearance, Harper had just finished her night duty and was on her way to the nearby convenience store. During that period, she drank many bottles of liquor and only left the store at dawn. So it wasn't just Harper. After that, Atom takes out another item from his suitcase, an ordinary storage box.
그건 제가 백 변호사님께 집에서 가져와 달라고 부탁한 물건이에요. 전 우태양의 실종과 연관되어 있지 않지만 적어도 두 분이 맞히신 부분이 있어요. 마지막에 우리의 관계는 그렇게 나쁘지만은 않았어요.
그래요?
Luke suspiciously takes a glance at the box and initiates to open it. The box contains several small and scattered items, such as an old and tattered keychain, a faded card, and a heavily used eraser. This Gerard's.
네. 우태양이 평소에 모으던 물건이에요. 친구가 없다고 소년원에 가기 전에 제게 맡기고 갔어요.
Beside these items, there is a letter that takes up a large space in the box. Luke opens it and hastily glances through it. He immediately frowns and his eyes fill with complex emotions. Luke, what's on it?
하간호사님에 대한 사과의 말이 쓰여 있어. 자기가 너무 충동적으로 굴어서 눈이 멀었었다고. 그리고 어머니에 관한 생각도 쓰여 있는데 이렇게 생각하는 게 맞는지는 모르겠지만 처음에 분노가 사라지고 나니 오히려 마음이 가벼워졌어요. 해방된 건 엄마가 아니란 나인 것 같아요. 우리가 드디어 서로를 놓아줄 수 있게 되었다고 하는 게 맞겠죠.
Luke hands you the letter. Your eyes linger on the last few sentences for a long time. Because of my mother's illness, I haven't been able to have friends. When I'm out of the correctional facility, I hope to become a useful person. This time, I want to be someone who's needed by a friend. Although Gerard did not mention it in the letter, you vaguely sense that he probably knew about his mother's fake illnesses long ago. Because he wanted to keep this unhealthy relationship of needing and being needed, he chose to say nothing about the truth. It was just like back then.
왜 돌아가야 되는데? 뭐? 왜라니? 넌 지금 규정을 어긴 거야. 잡히면 벌 받을 거라고.
If Julian were to give him the answer he wanted, would Gerard stay? If...
겨우 그것 때문에? 겨우 다라니... 물론 그게 다가 아니지. 이제 겨우 친구가 되었는데 이렇게 그냥 가버리는 거야? 어디 가는지 말도 없이.
So where did Gerard go? Nurse Harper, are you clueless about where Gerard is?
없어요. 하지만 이번에는 적어도 누구의 속박도 받지 않고 원하는 선택을 할 수 있게 되었다고 생각해요.
The tension on her face melts away as she replies, replaced by a joyous expression of reassurance. Putting aside what she did, she subtly fits the image of an angelic nurse. Perchance dissatisfied with her present countenance, Luke fixes her with an intense glare. His eyes fill with rage.
상당히 자랑스러워한 것 같네요.
Luke's face darkens as he walks over to her. With an unstoppable stride, he glides through the room, and his feet sends the chair scattering in his feet. They descended to the floor with a soft thud.
조심하세요. 여긴 경찰서입니다.
그건 저도 잘 알고 있어요. 중요한 질문이 생각나서요.
He marches past Autumn and gives Harper a condescending look. You instinctively want to move forward to stop him, but Autumn interrupts and shakes his head, signaling you to stay still and play by ear.
그 사람들에게 주사한 약물 어디서 난 거죠?
누가 준 거예요. 아니, 줬다기보단 알려줬다고 하는 게 맞겠죠?
누구? 그게 누구죠?
Luke staggers, eyes send a shiver down his spine. As a contemptuous snort escapes him, she flinches involuntarily. He helplessly takes a glimpse at Arthur, but the latter remains still and chooses not to chime in. It seems like before Luke subjects to any overly aggressive actions, Arthur will not intervene.
모르겠어요. 어느 날 가방에서 쪽지를 발견했는데 거기에 오이디푸스라는 이름이 적혀 있었어요. 그 약들은 정체불명의 경로를 통해 병원에 공급되었는데 전 그걸 찾았을 뿐이에요.
수도 제1병원 사건도 당신과 연관되어 있나요?
The capital's first people's hospital. You are taken aback by the sudden mention of this name. Harper seems surprised as well and looks at Luke in confusion.
수도 병원? 무슨 말을 하려는 건지 모르겠네요.
아무것도 모르면서 어떻게 그 정체불명의 약을 쓸 생각을 한 거죠?
어떻게라뇨. 전 사람을 구하고 있었어요. 태양이가 예전에 저를 도와준 적이 있으니 저도 태양이를 구해준 거라고요. 장태사는 죽어 마땅했고 우태양 엄마는 그렇게 병에 걸리고 싶어하니 그 소원을 이뤄준 거예요. 그렇게 잘못됐나요?
당신에겐 누군가를 심판할 자격이 없어요.
Luke loosens and tightens his clenched fist, ultimately decides not to throw his fist at anyone. You wish to hold his hand like the person who held the forsaken Gerard's hand on that day in the alley outside the correctional facility and brought him away. An instinct is telling you to bring Luke away from this place as soon as possible. But it's too late. Before you could do anything, Luke suddenly bends forward, seemingly in pain. He staggers back 2 steps and barely manages to reach out for the nearby table to balance himself.
어떻게 된 거죠?
Luke, are you okay? You step forward immediately to hold him, but he pushes you aside. Afterward, he staggers along toward the door, accidentally knocking over the box of items on the table to the ground. Some small items scatter onto the ground before you. A small slip of paper that you have not noticed previously glides out of the box. You instinctively lower your head and notice some familiar symbols on the paper, as if you've seen them not long ago.
감사합니다. 제가 가진 게 별로 없어서 담례로 2분께 무료로 점을 받으려도 될까요?
You wish to tell us our fortunes? The memory flashes by, but the current situation simply doesn't allow you to think it over. So quickly nodding toward Autumn to give your regards, you hurriedly chase off the look. You run out of the police station and find that the sky has darkened. Before you realize it, it's already nighttime. As Luke has disappeared in the blink of an eye, you wander along the street, looking around for him while Karen calling him on the phone. Come on, pick up. The narrow alley gradually becomes wider. You stop and stare blankly at the intersection in front of you. Where should you go? Where will he go?
눈을 어디에 두고 다니는 거야? 차 오는 거 안 보여?
You hurriedly retreat 2 steps as the shrill noise of the horn pulls back your wandering mind. Before you can catch your breath, the busy line on your phone suddenly goes through. Luke, where are you now? I'll go and find you. The other end of the line remains silent for several seconds before Luke speaks up.
안 와도 괜찮으니까 어서 돌아가.
Then come out and speak with me in person. I'll head back after making sure you're fine.
지금은 만나고 싶지가 않아.
Luke's voice is hoarse, low, and even a little weak. Regardless, you choose to believe that is his way of expressing his unhappiness and anger, like an animal that instinctively avoids contact when feeling low, and not his true intention. But I want to see you. Luke, are you okay? I'm very worried for you. He takes a deep breath and doesn't respond to your question directly.
어렸을 때 친구 생일 파티를 놓쳤었던 적이 있는데 기억나?
Did I? I don't remember. But why are you suddenly asking me about this? Luke chuckles and continues talking without replying to you.
그때 마침 내가 아팠거든. 나를 돌봐주느라 그 생일 파티에 못 갔고 그 일 때문에 따돌림을 당했었잖아.
Oh, that's inevitable. I mean, that's how kids behave.
그런데 내가 지금까지 내게 알려주지 않은 부분이 있어. 사실 그날 난 꾀병을 부린 거였어. 그냥 거기 가면 네가 날 잊어버릴까봐 걱정돼서 그랬어.
Really? It's fine. We were kids then, and I've forgotten about it.
근데 난 아직 잊지 못했어. 수도에서 병이 걸리고 이 일이 다시 생각나더라고. 벌이라도 받듯이 이번에는 정말 소원이 이루어졌네? 라고 깨달았어. 네 성격이라면 날 잊지 못할 텐데 말이야. 하지만 이번에는 후회가 돼. 애초에 널 찾아가지 않았으면 좋았을 텐데 라는 생각이 들어.
You keep convincing yourself that Luke must be feeling confused due to his illness and that you shouldn't believe every word he said. However, upon hearing those words, you still feel tightness in your throat as though something is gently strangling you. To the extent that you only realize it is drizzling when you see water droplets falling on your phone screen.
비 온다. 어서 들어가.
You keep quiet. You know the rain is getting bigger, but your legs feel as heavy as a sack of stone, unable to move even an inch. Your mind begins to wander as Luke's words reverberate in your ears. You recall the abnormalities he has shown in the past few investigations. There are too many memory fragments playing back and forth in your mind, preventing you to make rational judgments like you used to.
감기라도 걸리고 싶은 거야?
Huh? No.
거짓말하지 말고 어서 돌아가라니까.
Hearing his sudden anxious rebuke, you are taken aback. How does he know that I haven't left and I'm lying? Unless... You look up and survey around. Stretches of street lights illuminate the gloomy night, and the road is filled with flickering lights from passing cars. There's nowhere to hide. However, you notice a faintly lit alley in front of you on the right. Will Luke be hiding there? You immediately run toward the alley. I gotta hurry before he escapes. Ignoring the uneven road beneath your feet, you dash into the alley, anxiously looking for a possible hiding spot. The rain becomes bigger, and the cold wind howls, making you tremble slightly. Just when you start to feel discouraged and seeing no sign of Luke,
비 맞으면서 멍 때리지 마.
the speaker takes the opportunity to grab your wrist and pull you to the sheltered porch in front of a nearby abandoned store. Look! Despite the pattering sound of the rain against the tattered roof, you can hear his disordered and rapid breathing. You are about to turn around and face him when you feel a pair of warm hands place over your eyes, submerging you in the darkness.
나 보지 말고 잠깐 이렇게 있어.
With your eyes covered, the sensitivity of your other senses is gradually amplified. Besides the pattering sound of the rain and the friction sound of the cloth from Luke's trembling body, you can vividly hear his heartbeats. Oh, you really like to lie. You lied about being sick when you were a kid, and now you lie about being fine.
난 어렸을 때부터 착한 아이가 아니었잖아.
You said you didn't want to see me, but you were watching me from close by. So, when you said you wish you hadn't gone to me in the first place, it must be a lie too, right?
몰라.
Luke replies perfunctorily, but you can feel that he has slightly tightened his embrace around you. At that moment, you know the answer. You suppress the surging bitterness in your throat and continue. I don't care if you know, but it's too late now for you to regret it. Even if the time rewinds and you decide not to look for me, I'll certainly look for you.
그럴 필요 없어.
He lowers his head, rubbing his hair against your neck as he whispers.
방금 한 말들 다 거짓말이었어.
Shortly after, his attending doctor, Aaron Yushmi, rushes over. Luke releases his arms, turns around and follows Aaron's colleagues into a car, seemingly heading to a highly confidential place for a rigorous physical examination. Luke insists that you should not tag along and instruct Aaron to send you home. At that moment, you certainly hope that the rain doesn't stop. Just like the brief moment you spent alone with him just now, silently quenching the flames of resignation within him while watering the seed of hope. Outside the house.
그럼 여기까지만 데려다 드릴게요.
Okay, please let me know if you have any updates on Luke. It doesn't matter how late.
걱정 마세요. 끝나면 혁이한테 직접 찾아가라고 전할게요.
After expressing my gratitude to him, you take the opportunity to ask him the question that has been on your mind. Aaron, about Luke's illness, what exactly happened? And the first people hospital, did something happen at that place? Was it related to Luke's illness?
그건 다 어디서 들으신 거죠?
Luke said it. You briefly explained to Aaron the situation, but he only lets out a sigh.
그 녀석 정말 너무 조급했어. 하여튼 그 녀석이 먼저 말을 꺼낸 거니 제가 비밀을 누설한 게 아닌 겁니다.
You nod and gesture for him to enter your house for a chat, but he simply places his hand on the doorframe, smiles, and waves his hand.
제가 들어가면 혁이가 나중에 절 죽이려고 들걸요? 그냥 여기에서 간단히 말할게요.
Yeah, got it.
혁이의 병은 임무 수행 중 부상을 당해서 병원에서 치료를 받다가 걸린 거예요. 방금 말한 수도제일병원에서요. 하지만 그때 병을 앓던 사람은 혁이 혼자가 아니라 여러 명이었어요. 그래서 저희는 병원이 약 구매 경로에 문제가 있는 것 같다고 의심하기 시작했죠.
If that was the case, wasn't it the same as Sally's public hospital? Did the police manage to find anything?
아니요. 거긴 여기보다 상황이 더 복잡했어요. 그래서 이런저런 방해를 받았고 수사를 시작했을 때는 이미 증거물이 거의 없는 상태였고요.
Perhaps because it's highly confidential, Aaron winks at you and gives you a knowing look and doesn't continue further.
혁이의 얘기를 다시 하자면 혁이는 그 사람들 중 유일한 생존자예요. 선천적으로 건강한 몸이기도 했지만 솔직히 말해서 국정원이 최고의 의료 자원을 제공해준 덕에 살아남을 수 있었죠. 그래서 한동안 그 일에 대해 정말 신경을 많이 썼었어요.
희철이 형, 나 또 꿈꿨어요. 그 사람들이 뒤에서 잡아 끌면서 날 데리고 가려고 했어요. 불공평하다면서.
귀신 같은 건 없으니까 쓸데없는 생각 마. 살 수 있었던 건 네 운이 좋아서야. 누군가의 희생 덕이 아니라.
나도 알아요. 근데 이 세상에 정말 귀신이 존재했으면 좋겠어요. 적어도 내가 실패한다면 그 사람들에게 사과할 기회가 주어질 수도 있잖아요.
아주 오래전에 혁이가 했던 헛소리들이에요. 아직도 기억하려나 모르겠네요.
He has an excellent memory, especially if he feels he owes people something. I'm sure he remembers it. Listening to Aaron's explanation, you suddenly recall that question during interrogation.
모든 의료 자원을 장태산에게 집중시키라고 명령해서 원래 치료받았어야 할 환자들이 기회를 놓쳤어요. 장태산을 구하려고 도대체 얼마나 많은 무고한 생명을 희생시킬 생각이었던 거죠?
What was Luke feeling when Harper asked him that question? When it comes to medical treatment, no one should be ranked according to how rich or poor they are, or how kind and or evil they have been. Perhaps, as someone who was personally involved, he knew more than anyone that the outcome was unfair. But no matter what, at least he's still alive. The survivors don't live for only themselves, but also for the people who are gone or those who are soon to leave this world. As the darkness deepens into the late hours of the night, Luke carefully sets a bottle of the drug on the table. It contains a pristine white powder with a sticky note pasted on the bottle. A sharp message is printed on the try to live on.
독을 주자마자 해독제를 주는 건가? 이런 좋은 일이 있을 리가.
He frowns as his gaze falls upon the handwritten signature at the end, Oedipus. Gerard's Spoon disappearance case involved party Sky Harper handled by Sharara. The missing person, Gerard Boone, escaped from the 3rd Juvenile Correctional Facility a year ago and has been missing ever since. According to the data from Big Data Lab, Gerard's father died unexpectedly in a construction site accident at an early age, and Gerard grew up with his mother. However, after his mother died of illness, he was sent to a correctional facility because of his assault record. Gerard had only spent a week in the correctional facility, during which he was disciplined twice for fighting. Julian, Gerard's cellmate, confirmed that Gerard only fought to stop the bullying. Moreover, Julian was the last person who saw Gerard before his disappearance. Julian mentioned that there was a mysterious man who gently took Gerard by the hand and led him away. According to the case file provided by the warden, Gerard was taken in by the correctional facility not only for his frequent crimes of theft and fraud, but the most direct reason was that he had injured a nurse eye. The nurse, Sky Harper, claimed that their conflict arose from Gerard's unilateral belief that she wasn't taking good care of his mother. However, there are inconsistencies in the discussion of her job and how she treated her eye injury. There are also suspicions of revenge. After searching Gerard's home, it was discovered that Gerard's mother was suddenly diagnosed with cancer, which is the main reason why Gerard went from collecting waste products to theft and fraud to make money. In addition, a large number of suicide notes written by his mother was discovered in Gerard's home. In the letters, there is a strong desire for control hidden in the tune. At the same time, Gerard's case file mentioned that he had once helped Harper, who was being harassed by a patient's family. A further investigation revealed that Harper belonged to pediatrics, so there isn't a possibility of conflict between him and Harper due to poor care. There is something strange in the reasoning for their conflict. During investigation, Tyson Turner suddenly passed away. Harper, who had scratches on her arm suspected of being left by Tyson Turner, is the prime suspect. King. Oh, Libra, this case is far from simple. Harper had another piece of important evidence. It's strange. All the monitors nearby have been investigated, but there is no trace of the mysterious person who took Gerard away on the night he was missing. Adjudicator. Gerard's mother is very likely suffering from Munchausen syndrome. She is ill indeed, but she is unaware. Libra. Sky Harper hurt Tyson Turner and Gerard's mother because she wanted to remove the evils of the people, and Gerard didn't tell the truth to cover up his mother. Therefore, Harper is not directly related to Gerard's disappearance. Raven. Thanks to the clues provided by the earnest citizens, the police are investigating Sky Harper, and the sick pioneer is on its way to PAX. Okay, it won't be allowed to happen a third time. The PAX group does have a reputation to maintain. Gerard Boone, male, 15, a student. The subject of this investigation had just turned 14 when he disappeared. Since childhood, he and his ailing mother lived together, and he took up the responsibility of taking care of her. In his spare time, he would collect waste products and sell them to make some money. After his mother was suddenly diagnosed with cancer, Gerard was suspected of committing multiple counts of theft and fraud to pay for his mother's medical bills. Although he is righteous, his personality was quite impulsive, evident by when he attacked Sky Harper, a nurse from Sally's public hospital, and caused serious injury to her eye. After his mother died of illness, Gerard was taken in by the correctional facility, but he somehow escaped within a week. According to his cellmate's eyewitness testimony, it seems someone took him away. His current whereabouts are unknown. Raven, this case isn't over. We have to find him no matter what. King, I wonder how Gerard feels about his mother. Adjudicator, think less and do more. Libra, the reason Gerard's mother developed a terminal illness, same as Tyson Turner, is related to anthrax. Although it was Harper who committed the crime this time, the mastermind is probably the same. Raven, under the pressure of the environment, it was difficult for him to change his future, and he can only become such a person. Sky Harper, female, 27 nurse, a Salus public hospital nurse who had a stellar record with a patient. Due to a conflict with Gerard before he disappeared, Harper sustained a serious injury to her left eye, which had to be replaced with prosthetic. She believed the conflict was caused by Gerard's misunderstanding that she had not taken good care of his mother. However, there are still some doubts about this claim, given that she belonged to pediatrics and was helped by Gerard before. When Tyson Turner died, Harper, who had scratch on her arm, suspected of being left by Tyson Turner, is the prime suspect. King, she is a murderer to some people, but to the common patient, she was a dedicated medical worker. Raven, extreme kindness is adjacent to evil. Be careful not to cross that line. King, to some extent, everyone has two sides. Libra, Sky Harper is my client, and I will be in charge of the legal process of this case. Adjudicator, so sudden. Am I just half asleep, or is there something more to this? Doxing. Doxing is a way an internet phenomenon of cyberbullying that takes advantage of search engines, forum blogs, anonymous sources, or other forms of internet platform to gain data and private information about a specific person for the purpose of exerting pressure on the individual. Gladiolus Valley Research Center is located in the Gladiolus Valley Technology Development Center District. This research center is an advanced biological research center organized by numerous renowned universities in the United Nations and run by the Salt Lake City government. It has received a number of international awards in the field of biopharmaceutical research and has ongoing collaboration with well-known pharmaceutical companies. Its research results yield a very high economic conversion, only behind Pax Pharmaceutical and Crimson Biotech's Biopharmaceutical Research Center.